San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Friday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're excited to get to the show today. No, we're not talking about the NFL. For the people that are on YouTube, we're going to break down a lot of different things that we want to talk about with yesterday's game. But overall, I do want to say big thanks to everybody that came out yesterday to Baja Ricks. Big thanks to everybody that came up, introduced themselves. Big thanks to everybody that watched on YouTube yesterday. Big thanks to everybody that made opening day a fun day. Now, here's the thing. Despite the results, you could still say that you had a fun day at opening day. I mean, you can. All right, I still had a good time yesterday. It's unfortunate that the Padres lost. It's unfortunate the way things looked yesterday, but we got 161 more of these games. So, big thank you to everybody that came out. Congratulations to everybody that won prizes with us, which is great. It was good to talk with all of you fans. We will be doing that again on Saturday. We're going to be at Far Corner on Saturday for a specialty show. Ben and Woods will get things started at 10 in the morning. They'll go 10 to noon. We will be on noon to 2, and then Gwen and Chris will be on from 2 to 4, leading you into the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt for Game 3 of the 3-game series between the Padres and the Detroit Tigers. All right. Let's talk about yesterday's game. Opening day. It's back. The bunting was out. The flyover was great. The jerseys look brand new. The grasses was perfect. The optimism was off the charts. And for about what? 12 minutes yesterday?
And then the game started.
It felt like everything we dreamed this Padres season could be. And then
the game started.
Boom. Reality. And that's what opening day does. It gives you that hope, and then it tests how real that hope actually is. And for the San Diego Padres, Game 1 gave you both sides of that argument. It gave you the excitement, and it gave you a little bit of the fear. Let's be honest right out of the gate. That was not just a bad loss. That was a revealing loss. That 8-2 loss to Detroit didn't just count as 0-1. That tapped directly into the biggest question hanging over this team coming into the season, which is, can the starting rotation hold up for 162 games? Because you watched Nick Pivetta yesterday, that didn't look like a guy ready to anchor rotation. That looked like a guy searching. He lost his rhythm. He didn't have command. Didn't seem like he had a lot of feel. And there's the part that matters most. This isn't complicated. If Nick Pivetta is going to be what he was last year, he can't walk people. I mean, he just can't. You don't survive in this league, especially at the top of the rotation, putting guys on for free. There is nothing defensively you can do to stop a walk. You don't survive when you're constantly pitching behind in counts. You don't survive when your best pitches, your fastball, your curve, whatever it may be, aren't even landing in the zone. Because what happened when the Tigers noticed that Pivetta was all over the place? They adjusted immediately. They stopped chasing. They waited him out. And then when he had to come over the plate, they punished him for it. That's big league hitting. And it snowballed fast on Nick Pivetta yesterday. And that's where the game got flipped. You go down 4-0 before your offense even steps to the plate. Let me say it again. Opening day, Petco Park, energy is electric. And your windup walks up to hit, already down 4 runs on the scoreboard. Against Tarik Skubal. Good luck. I mean, you just can't do that. You cannot give a pitcher like that the cushion you gave him before your guys even dig into the box, because now the entire game changes. Now your offense starts to press. Now every at-bat feels bigger than it should. Now instead of building an approach and trying to grind out some at-bats, you're trying to hit a 5-run homer in the second. That's how games start to spiral. That's how you lose control before you even had a chance to grab it. But here's where things get interesting, because buried underneath that ugly scoreboard, there were signs, real ones, that were positive too. I did like the way Nick Pivetta bounced back in his second inning. Would have been better in the third inning if he hadn't given up 2 additional runs, but he was able to bounce back a little bit. We talked about Nick Pivetta can't be walking guys. I think that's something that you might be able to fix. Again, it's one game. You can't overanalyze it and be like, they're doomed. There were some other good signs too. Xander Bogaerts hitting in the 2-hole, something he doesn't like to do, something that statistically he hasn't done well. He looked a lot different hitting in the 2-hole yesterday. Now, it's again, same thing with the Nick Pivetta situation. It's only one game. Can't get super bummed out about it. Xander Bogaerts, it's only one game. You can't get overly excited about it. But how about these for exit velos yesterday? 104.5 miles an hour, 108 miles an hour, 102.3 miles an hour, 101.7 miles an hour. That's not soft contact. That's not luck getting some couple of hits. I mean, he was roping the ball. He was hitting the ball with some authority. That's a guy scoring baseballs up all day long, a guy that already looks comfortable. That's a guy who might be settling into a role that maximizes what this lineup needs. And it wasn't just him. Look at the top of the order yesterday. Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado combined yesterday, 363. Those guys showed up. They did their job. They set the tone offensively. But here's the problem. Nobody else in the lineup really did. Middle of the order was 0 for 10. Bottom of the order was 1 for 11. That one hit was Ramon Laureano's home run late in the game. But by that point, the game was already pretty much under wraps. That's where the game was lost offensively, because against a guy like Tarik Skubal, you're not going to string together 10 hits. You need situational production. You need somebody in the middle to come through. You need to lengthen the lineup. And yesterday, they didn't have any. But again, it's not like they're going to not have any the entire year. It's only one game. Let's be honest again. The bullpen. I thought the bullpen was pretty good yesterday. Quietly good. Outside of one pitch from Ron Marinaccio that left the yard, they settled the game down. They gave you innings. They kept it from becoming an absolute disaster. I think that matters, because if you're looking for something to hold on to for game one, from the positive standpoint of things, the bullpen looked very capable, and you didn't see any of their, big names go out there out of the bullpen yesterday. But we keep coming back to the same thing here. It's the starting pitching, because that's the story of the season. It's not the lineup. Top of the lineup hit pretty well. Okay, it'd be nice to get a couple more runs. You're going against one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best pitcher in baseball, especially after Paul Skeens' day yesterday. But it's hard to do when you're down 4-0 to start the game. It's not the lineup. It's not the star power. It's not the ballpark. It's not the bullpen. The rotation's the biggest question coming into the season. And here's the reality. This team is going to go as far as the top of that rotation takes them. And a lot, and I mean a lot, is riding on Nick Pivetta being closer to the guy we saw last year than the guy we saw yesterday. Because last year, career year, sub-ERA for the first time ever in his career. Command, efficiency, reliability. Yesterday, didn't see any of that. And if that is the version that you see in Nick Pivetta, and if that version shows up too often, it's going to be a very difficult conversation later on this year. I mean, we're going to be having a very different conversation about this team in a couple of months. And I think this is the most important thing, despite all the negatives maybe at Nick Pivetta, despite all the negatives about how the Tigers jumped out to a lead and how the middle of the order didn't have that great of a day. And, the bottom of the order got the one hit, and, Ron Marinaccio had the one bad pitch. The most important thing about this, it's one game. It's one. That's it. 1 out of 162. Barely half of 1% of your season. This is where opening day messes with people, right? Because everything feels bigger, everything feels louder, everything's more final than it actually is. I mean, you live and die on opening day. Opening day feels like a playoff game. Last year, the Padres dominated their first 7 games of the year. Everybody's like, oh, World Series team, here we come. This year, they get blown out 8-2 on opening day, and it's like, oh, man, we got massive problems. Everything. It's one game out of 162. This happens in the middle of July after a 5 or 6 game winning streak. Nobody cares. This happens in the end of May. Even in the middle of a losing streak, there might be a little bit of grumbling about it, but nobody really cares. It's just another game. So as much as there were some problems yesterday, there were some things to be positive about with yesterday's game, as well as the fact that it's 1 out of 162. So here's the balance. Here's the line you have to walk today if you're a Padres fan. You can be disappointed in yesterday, and you should be disappointed in yesterday. Yesterday was kind of disappointing. I mean, everybody's excited. You got the bunting out there. We got baseball back. You're excited to see some of the new faces for the Padres. And then the 4-0 at the beginning kind of, really made it hard to get super excited for the rest of the game. It wasn't a good showing yesterday from the Padres. You can be concerned. You should be a little concerned, not too much, because the exact weakness we talked about during the offseason showed up immediately, which might be a little concerning. But at the same time, you also cannot overreact. Not yet. Because the other reality is baseball doesn't care about your first impression. It cares about consistency. It cares about adjustments. It cares about what you look like in May, June, August, and September. And this team still has 161 chances to show you who you really are. But I'll leave you with this. Opening day is emotional. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to make you feel something. And what the Padres gave you yesterday was a reminder of what they can be and what they cannot afford to be. They showed you the ceiling in flashes. They showed you the concern very clearly. Now, the question is simple. Which version shows up next? Which version shows up tonight at 6:40? Because if yesterday becomes a trend, we've got a problem. But if yesterday becomes a lesson, then it's just baseball. And that's the beauty of this sport. You don't have to wait long to respond. Game 2 is coming. And now we find out what this team is really made of early in the season. But yesterday, Frank, as we talk about yesterday's game, you cannot have Nick Pivetta go out there and walk people. You just can't. If it was one thing, if he got hit around a little bit, it'd be different there. But you cannot walk people early in the game. That, to me, was the biggest concern of Nick Pivetta, because a lot of the contact, aside from Kevin McGonigal, who, by the way, is a stud, top prospect, aside from him, they didn't hit Pivetta very well. I mean, a lot of the contact was soft contact, but the walks killed him in the first inning. And when your offense has to look at the scoreboard facing Tarik Skubal, and they already have a 4-0 start to the game, it's hard to overcome regardless of who's in your lineup and what you have.
Yeah, this was Nick Pivetta's first inning. A drop third strike on 3 pitches. Walk, single, walk.
The single
walk. That was an opposite field little dunk hit that had no power on it. Double, single, strikeout. That was his first inning. That's a long old first inning for Nick Pivetta. It's just the walks are what absolutely killed you. You had 3 and 4 hitters. One of them walked in a run. And then you had Kevin McGonigal come up and absolutely lace one into right field. I mean, that was about the worst possible start that you could have had if you were Nick Pivetta. And we had discussed it on this show about Pivetta's spring training being a cause for a little bit of concern. Now, I didn't think him only having 2 starts, missing one of them and not looking good in those 2 starts were going to translate to what we saw yesterday. I thought he was going to be better than what he was yesterday, but there were some kind of signs. If you look back at spring training, there was a sign or two that this could have happened, and unfortunately it did.
Right. That's what it was yesterday. Again, like to some people in the chat, well, they had 7 hits. They hit him fine. That doesn't mean they were all ropes. Yeah. If he was getting squared up, it's a little bit different. I mean, the first hit he gave up was a bleeder where the offense was shifted to the guy's pull side, and the guy got jammed on a pitch inside and just kind of flailed it to left field. McGonigal hit him really well. McGonigal had 4 hits yesterday. 3 of those hits were against Pivetta, and all 3 of those hits were scorched. I mean, he hit Pivetta very well.
He had a screamer. That second double that went off the very top of the fence, right under where the railing is, that was a scorcher. He killed that ball.
Right. So from that perspective, yes. Kevin McGonigal was a one-man wrecking crew for the Tigers yesterday in his Major League debut. I mean, he had a great day yesterday for Detroit. But again, with the pitching staff with Pivetta, you could give him a day, right? You can give him a game. He can't, but he has a couple of these in a row, then we have a massive problem. The walks to me were more of a problem than the hits, because once the walks started happening early, they got to settle in. They didn't chase. He didn't get to play off of his fastball because he couldn't really locate it. And on top of that, when guys know that you're a little wild, you could start waiting and be impatient. And then as a pitcher, you feel like you have to almost groove one. And those were the pitches that were hit as mistakes that led to the Tigers adding runs later in that inning, or later on against Nick Pivetta. The 4 runs in the first inning, Frank, those were because of walks.
Yes. 100%.
Those were strictly because of walks. You cannot walk MLB teams. You cannot have multiple walks in an inning. I see it in the college level all the time, but especially in the pro level, teams are going to make you pay if you walk them just once. He had 3 walks in the first inning.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be a lot better with his command if he's got to be the number 1 guy in this rotation. I love the way Xander Bogaerts played yesterday.
Oh, he was fantastic. Absolutely incredible. 108 miles an hour off the bat. That was the highest exit velo. By the way,
he tagged Skubal yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he certainly did. Going back to Nick Pivetta real quick, though, one positive you want to take out of his start, he had the same amount of swings and misses as Tarik Skubal at 11 yesterday. He got 11 swing and misses yesterday.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I would not have guessed that
either.
I mean, he had to start. He struck out the side in the first inning and gave up 4 runs at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just kind of how the day went for the Padres. But the other thing too, with giving up the 4 in the first inning, it's it just completely sucks the life out of Petco Park. But I will say this, William in our YouTube chat talked about another positive would be, even though they were getting crushed, probably 30 to 35,000 of the fans stuck around for all 9 innings. I think a lot of people did stick around for all 9 innings. I mean, it's tough though, because opening day is usually more expensive. You're already committing to going down there. You can't. That's not one of the days you walk out early on. But yeah, kudos to the fans again for sticking it in. We are going to continue to talk about yesterday's game. We're going to talk more Padres baseball later on in the show. We are also going to dive into some college basketball at the end of the show today. We got a lot of stuff around MLB that we want to address about what happened on opening day. But when we come back, we'll hear from Craig Stammen, the manager of the San Diego Padres, after last night to discuss what happened in yesterday's game. Braden Surprenant Show just getting started. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. There's a major storyline developing in San Diego High School football, and it's not about wins and losses, but Mount Miguel High School is now looking for its second head coach in just a few months. Larry Villarreal stepped down before coaching a single game, and the situation goes deeper than that. Nearly 30 players have entered the transfer portal, and multiple coaches have left the program. That's not just a coaching change. That's kind of a full reset in today's high school sports world, where the transfers are easier and exposure is higher. Program stability matters more than ever. Meanwhile, other programs like Cathedral Catholic continue to reload and compete at a high level year after year. So here's the big question. Are we starting to see a divide between programs that can sustain success, and are those trying to rebuild from the ground up? Because what's happening in Mount Miguel could be a sign of a much bigger trend. It's been a week of major transitions, standout performances, and rising storylines across San Diego High School sports. At the top, another coaching shakeup. Mount Miguel High School is once again searching for a head coach after Larry Villarreal stepped down before even coaching a game. This is very interesting to me when it comes to this particular decision, because, Frank, the reports are that, so Verlaine Batofi leaves and decides he's not going to coach anymore. Mount Miguel hires this particular gentleman to be their new head coach. And then the reports were members of Verlaine's staff were upset about it and forced him to step down. This is a crazy story in high school sports. Meanwhile, here's the other thing I got to ask. How does a public school get 30 transfers out? Seriously. I thought public schools just pull from their local neighborhoods. How does a public school out in East County get 30 football players to transfer out of the program when their head coach leaves? Is that not a massive red flag for Mount Miguel? I mean, they had Mount Miguel. They got a coach. Assume a ton of players show up. Coach leaves, and now 30 players are in the high school transfer portal. Does that raise any red flags to you?
No, all normal here, all quiet on the Western Front.
No, it's just a neighborhood school with a bunch of neighborhood kids. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and Villoria was the JV coach that got promoted to varsity. So the coaches, again, if what you're saying is accurate, the coaches that are telling him that forced him to step down, those are people that he's known for a while, whether it be in consulting with the varsity program as well. So that's very, very interesting, this whole story, that now you had a new coach, you promoted your JV coach, and now you've lost him and half of your team. That's very, very interesting what's going on at Mount Miguel right now.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't pass the smell test.
No, something about this is fishy. And I saw this on social media that made it even more fishy about the conversation with I mean, the players are going to leave anyway because it's a brand new coach, right? I mean, that's just kind of, in this day and age of high school football, you're going to get this type of movement, especially for the high-profile coach that Mount Miguel had before they decided to make this move. But the interesting thing was the tweet that I saw about the whole situation of like the staff convincing the new coach, like, hey, you should probably step down before we even start the season. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Something about that's a little fishy, Frank.
Yeah, that's just really odd that you have the coaching staff conspire against the new head coach, who it's not like it's some random dude, and just it's just so odd. It's such a weird story, and I don't like the smell of this one bit.
Here's the tweet that I was mentioning from one of the coaches that is on that staff. He put this out. To be transparent, this had nothing to do with Coach Larry. I asked him to step down, and I gave him all the reasons to do so. He respected my request for the greater good of the program, and here we are. It wasn't Coach Larry's fault. He stepped into a situation that the remaining staff and parents said they'll support, but things just didn't work out. Life happens. Coach Larry is not on Twitter, and so I'm clearing the air for him. That doesn't make any sense at all. That doesn't make any sense at all. And then when asked about it from another coach, his response was, I'm not sure why you have more questions. I explained everything in the tweet, and no hard feelings. I know what you mean. Just for your curiosity, I'm nobody. I looked at the situation as a whole and seen what was going on, and it wasn't fair to Larry or the program. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand what's going on at Mount Miguel, but the fact that a coach that was on the former staff has now convinced the guy that got hired to be the new head coach to step down for the betterment of the program, this is a mess. Fan, we got a lot to get to still on the show today. We appreciate you guys joining us. If you're joining us on YouTube, give us a like. It's great. Smash the like button. We really appreciate that. If you don't know about us on YouTube, you could subscribe to our YouTube page at B_SURP, youtube.com/@B_SURP, and you'll be able to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got a lot of great content on there as well. We're trying to grow the page as much as we possibly can. So appreciate all of you that did that yesterday. We're close. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're up to 883 now. So we're getting closer and closer by the day. Again, really appreciate that. We post a lot of extra content on there. So be sure to go to our YouTube page. Again, if you go on YouTube, you can also live chat with us, which is great. So we can see all your messages on there. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to join the show today, we're talking about yesterday's game, obviously, between the Padres and the Tigers. Overall, my overall take on yesterday's game, Nick Pivetta can't walk people, or it's going to be a problem. It's only game one. Xander Bogaerts hit the ball really well. Bullpen looked pretty good. That's where I'm at with this. That's what it looked like yesterday. I mean, I know Marinaccio gave up the 2-run homer in the middle of the game right there, but he was working on his second inning. I think he's only going to be. I think reality, he's probably only going to play one inning or pitch one inning more times than not. Thought the bullpen guys that were pressed into action did a really good job. How about Bradley Rodriguez yesterday too? Bradley looked good. Not his debut. He pitched last year. He looked good last year. Earned a spot on this team. He looked really good yesterday. Really difficult to deal with. Another bullpen arm that's pretty electric for the San Diego Padres. Coming out of the bullpen. So overall, I think the bullpen was good. I think the top of the order did all right. Middle of the order wasn't very good. And then the bottom of the order got the one home run out of Ramon Laureano. I do have a couple of questions. I'm surprised. And we're going to talk about this in a second. I was surprised at the lineup in terms of how many lefties were used. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But we do want to hear from Craig Stammen, what he said yesterday. Obviously, it's his first game as a manager. And so here's what Craig had to say about what it was like managing his first game.
Humbling, I guess. Hope it goes well, but got off to a bad start, and it's just the game of baseball, But it was a lot of fun for me to be in the dugout and lead the guys, and hopefully get back after them tomorrow.
Talking about also too, I saw Kyle Hart was getting loose there in the first inning. I mean, that could have been disastrous, I think, for the Padres. I think Nick Pivetta did a good job getting out of the end of that inning and then going pretty quickly in the second inning. But how close was Kyle Hart coming into that game?
Probably pretty close. We were trying to cap Nick at maybe 35 pitches in that first inning. So top of the order was coming back up with 3 out of 4 lefties. So Kyle was probably pretty close, kind of just to stop the bleeding there in the first inning, give us a chance the rest of the game.
I'm surprised Kyle Hart didn't pitch yesterday. But you know what? You got to give it to Pivetta. He gave you everything he could after allowing those runs, which kind of was his game to kind of clean up at that point in time. I thought the bullpen finished the game out well. What did Craig Stammen think?
I think the hardest part about today decision making was who was going to pitch and how we're going to get through the game without pitching guys we wanted to save, and then we ended up wanting to save Kyle Hart for tomorrow and the next day. Their lineup is predominantly left-handed, and we felt like, if we saved him for the next 2 days, we had a better chance. We could be a little bit more aggressive with the bullpen if we had to be. I knew if Wandy just pitched one inning, he'd be, good to go one of the next 2 days.
Last thing for you. I thought Xander Bogaerts played pretty well yesterday. I liked his performance. All of the balls that he put in play were hit over 100 miles an hour with the skipper thing.
Very happy with how Xander looks right now. Carried on, what he looked like at the end of spring training, hitting line drives everywhere. Very excited about where Xander Bogaerts is and what kind of season he's going to have this year.
All right, so that's a lot of the stuff from Craig from yesterday post game. Again, a lot of it's one game, so you can't take too much out of it. And it's for everybody else too. There's going to be some negative people saying like how bad the Padres are going to be this year, how bad they are after whatever it is. I mean, the Cardinals are going to be terrible this year. They won yesterday. Are they going to go on and win a bunch of games? Probably not. I just think, Frank, opening day, we react to opening day like it's a playoff game. And I get it. Like the pageantry's there, all about like it's a big deal for a lot of people. It's the start of the season. But when you look at the overall grand scheme of things, it's 1 out of 161. Now, if they get their ass kicked the next 2 days by the Tigers, yeah, there'd be a little bit cause for concern on Monday. I don't think it's going to be the case. You got to give them an opportunity to bounce back after the first game, because we'd be saying the same thing if they won yesterday 8-2. People would be like, this team's going to the World Series. The reality is it's not. I mean, they just showed that on MLB Network, the Mets and the game that they had against Paul Skeens and the Pirates, and people tweet out, we're going to the World Series because they beat Paul Skeens yesterday. I mean, the overreacting of opening day is hilarious to me from a lot of different levels. But that being said, positives, Xander Bogaerts looked good at the dish. I thought the bullpen pitched well. negatives and maybe glaring concerns, obviously. It doesn't look great, and it doesn't feel great when your biggest concern going into the season showed up in the first inning of the game.
Yeah, no, not great at all. And again, with how his spring training went, you kind of sense that this could be a possibility. And now you're going to see Michael King go today, another guy who's coming off an injury, did look good in the game that he pitched at the end of last season, but he also had more or less an up and down spring training as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how not just the Padres offense, because they were not great yesterday either, 2 runs on 5 hits. You also have a starting rotation that needs to bounce back in a huge way in order to regain some confidence here.
Right. Absolutely. They're going to need a bounce back today. And here's the deal. If the Padres do bounce back today, everybody's going to change their mind again. It's just going to be, changing the tune of everything like that. So overall, not great. It's just one game. You can flush it. You win the next 2. You're going to be okay. What did I say yesterday? What I thought the Padres are going to do this weekend?
You thought they were going to go 1-2?
I thought they'd lose 2 out of 3 this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% said that. I still I fill that out on that sheet of picking all the games. Like, they're losing 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, and I still have them winning 91 games because of what this team can do. And here's the thing: it's not like they didn't threaten against Skubal. The first inning, they had runners on the corners and had an opportunity to potentially get some runs on the board against Skubal there early, and couldn't pull it off. But they were able to get guys on. I mean, it's not like Xander Bogaerts got all his knocks against some no-name bullpen arm.
Mm-hmm.
He tagged Tarik Skubal.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a lot of, overreaction to the opening day being the most important day. Because again, like the next 2 days, if they win the next 2 games, it's not going to be as huge as the opening day reactions. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. It's got Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on?
Yeah, hey, Braden. From where I sit and stand and take a look at this, we can use all the cliches we want about game 1, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. And as Frank pointed out, Nick Pivetta did not have a good spring, and it seems to have at least overlapped for 1 game already. And this is going to be a problem for the Padres if this continues with other pitchers. It's what I've said before, and I'll stand by this. For the most part, you've got 2 or 3 pitchers in your starters, 1, 2, and 3, that for the time being, they're going to be like 3-4 inning pitchers at best. That's going to go after the bullpen and wear that down quite a bit in the early phases. What bothered me yesterday was, once again, the Padres get punched in the mouth. Understandably, you don't want to go down 4-0, nothing, that early. But there was just nothing coming back offensively when they had opportunities. And this is a continuation from last year. That would be a concerning thing. Let's hope that all of this can get resolved. I get all of this early season stuff, but yesterday was a yellow flag on Nick Pivetta that we're going to have to watch.
I think the biggest concern out of yesterday was Nick Pivetta over the offense. I have never played a Major League Baseball. I'm telling you right now, Tony Gwynn Jr. probably say the exact same thing. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but when you're down 4-0 to start the game, you can't just lock in on offense and just try to put things together. It's very difficult to do. I've seen enough baseball at all levels where the psyche of that becomes very difficult, especially when you're going against a guy like Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me raise that for a second. You went down 4-0 in the first inning against Tarik Skubal.
Right.
I mean, that's
the mindset's different.
Game's over at that point.
Right. And here's the other thing too, and then Fernando's first at bat is a check swing grounder up the first baseline. And then Xander tagged Skubal for a base hit to left. Manny going the opposite way. Usually Manny's doing very well when he's hitting the opposite way. And you got runners on the corners with 1 out. Jackson Merrill looked awful at the plate yesterday. I mean, he was not good against Tarik Skubal, but it's a lefty-lefty matchup, which I kind of want to talk about when we come back. I didn't fully realize when I saw the lineup that every lefty on the team was in the order until I looked at the lineup card that we get in the press box. I think that's an interesting topic of conversation. Plus, what else did we get out of opening day? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 to the Fan. Here's the biggest lie in the NFL right now. You can win free agency because you can't. And the data proves it. Over a 10-year span, more than half of the top free agents didn't even live up to their contracts, not exceed them, didn't even meet expectations, and nearly 30% were straight-up disasters. But every March, we do the same thing. Fans celebrate, teams flex on social media, and everybody thinks they just fixed their franchise overnight. Meanwhile, the truth is the exact opposite. The biggest contracts are often the worst investments. Running backs, bust rate. Wide receivers, overpaid. Quarterbacks, total gamble. The teams that actually win in this league don't build through free agency. They survive it. They draft well, they develop talent, and then they use free agency like a tool, not a foundation. So when your team wins the offseason, history says they probably didn't. What just happened this weekend or this last couple of weeks? NFL free agency. Excitement, headlines, splash moves. Fans and teams convince themselves that they won the offseason, but history says that's usually not true.
Yeah, no, studies of the top 500 top free agents from 2023 to 2022, their average grade for that is just a 2.26 out of 6, which is well below average. Only 41% of signings are actually, quote unquote, successful. 58% are disappointment or worse. Nearly 30% are major failures or disasters, and only 4.2% are Pro Bowl or superstar level. That is more than half the time these teams are regretting the deals that they're making.
And from 2013 to 2022, that's a large sample size of free agent contracts. And what happens to these NFL teams that sign these particular deals? And this is where teams get it wrong. Paying for hype and not value. Biggest names are not the safest bets. Top-tier free agents actually perform worse than mid-tier ones, and teams overestimate their ability to pick the right guy. Skill positions are a trap market. Worst success rate, 10% success rate for running backs, approximately 30% success rate for wide receivers, and quarterbacks are very volatile and risky. Meanwhile, safeties, O-line, D-line, much safer investments. Teams chase highlights instead of impact. And I could have told you that. Just as a football coach, where you have success is in the trenches and safeties and linebackers because they fill out special teams. That is where your value is for contracts. It's not paying wide receivers. It's not paying running backs. It's not spending money on positions that would make a upgrade to your fantasy team, Frank. You got to build within the trenches, and you got to keep everything young by going through the draft.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. You do need those players. You do need those pieces. You do need the big star wide receiver. You do need help in those areas, but not at the price that you are going to have to pay for them during a free agency window. And another thing here, age really matters more than teams admit. The best window is for a 24 to 27-year-old when they hit free agency. Productive drops when players hit their late 20s and into their early 30s, but teams still pay these guys not for what they're doing, but for what it says on the back of their card.
And here's why teams keep doing it. It's that hope. It's that human element, right? It's the hope over logic. It's the pressure to win the offseason. It's ownership wants headlines. They want the hype. They want people and their fans excited about the season. And general managers bet on being the exception. Every team thinks, yeah, but our guy is different. But the reality is hits exist. They are very rare. Like short-term quarterback swings, you're really getting lucky. Like the Sam Darnolds of the world, right? It's
Daniel
like, hey,
Jones.
look, this worked out for one season. But, you know, there are some strategic fix, but disasters pile up. Big money quarterbacks flop. Wide receiver deals age poorly. Injury risk kills contracts. I mean, I look at like the free agent signing of Russell Wilson multiple times going like, really? Or the trade for Russell Wilson too. It's like, this guy is not worth the amount of money that you're spending to make a big headline splash. And to be honest with you, really look like you're building a fantasy team instead of an actual football team.
Yeah. And this one came down while we were doing our show on Monday as we record this. Travis Kelce just signed a new 3-year deal rounded up worth about $55 million. He is not worth $55 million anymore. That is a huge overpay for the Kansas City Chiefs for a guy who they were talking all year about him possibly retiring at the end of the season. Now to get a 3-year, $55 million contract in free agency, that is insane for the Kansas City Chiefs to do that, even with a player they have a rapport with.
That's such a emotional signing for the Kansas City Chiefs from so many different aspects of that particular deal. But, you know, free agency is not how you build a winner in the National Football League. It's how you patch some holes. It's how you take calculated swings, and it's not how you build a core. The best teams draft and develop in the National Football League and use free agents selectively. The worst teams, the ones that try to make the headlines and try to buy relevance overnight. So as you sit here and you listen to this, you watch this breakdown of the NFL, and you want to think about what your team is doing right now in free agency, you kind of hope they're not spending a lot of money and they're focused on the draft, because that is what wins. That's what wins Super Bowls in the National Football League. $10:41 on a Friday with Padres baseball. No game on Sunday. So odd. There's so many quirks to the schedule. We didn't even talk about the schedule. Maybe we got to dive into that today. Haven't been able to talk about the Padres schedule at the beginning part of the year. They got the Tigers for the next 2 days. They got Sunday off. They'll take on the Giants for 3, and then they fly to Boston. And we'll open up the Red Sox season at Fenway Park next Friday. We will be off next Friday because at this time, you will be listening to Padres baseball against the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, we're off next Friday. We have a shortened show next Wednesday, and then we're off the Wednesday after that because they're in Pittsburgh.
Are we really?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Forgot about that. This is another reason why I need to go through the schedule, see what days I have to show up to work.
Yeah, so this Wednesday, I'm assuming will be at the Loft. That would be my guess. For the final game of the first homestand. Then off Friday because of Boston's opening day. And then next Wednesday will be the final game in Pittsburgh.
That's awesome. Today just got even better. I forgot about it. You know what I usually do is on that schedule, since me and you are the only ones that use that, and I've been the only one that put up the Padres schedule in our place.
We don't have the giant one this year. It's still just the 8.5 by 11 one.
Oh, I could print the big one.
That would be awesome.
I'd have to do it on that computer though. I got to scan my card on this one now to print the thing. You could do it in that computer prints without having to scan your access card, and then the one in the studio back there.
There you go.
So that's how you got it. That's how you get it done. But yeah, we'll get the big one up there, and then we could go like, oh, no show for us this day. If we did it for like Gwen and Chris, it'd be every day. I mean, every day is preempted for them, so must be nice.
It's preempted only by 20 minutes though.
For most of their shows.
Yeah.
They go like,
Yeah, they go from 2 to 6. They go from 2 to 6. Pregame starts at 5:40. It's only a half hour, 20 minutes.
They'll start racking up, dude.
They do.
The only one that doesn't ever get it really is the morning show. But I will say, like, there is a couple of East Coast trips where the morning show actually gets to get a little bit of a break.
Yes.
All right. Yesterday, there was some other information that came out yesterday that was reported by Kevin Acee in his little notebook. And it's about Joe Musgrove and where he's at. It's about you, Darvish, and all the details we got from AJ Preller yesterday. It's about the ABS system that debuted yesterday. It's about Nick Castellanos. And of course, what a great tribute yesterday to Randy Jones before the game. Moment of silence for Randy. Padres Hall of Famer passed away at age 75 during the offseason. His family threw out the ceremonial first pitch. It was a really good tribute, I thought the Padres did for opening day for Randy Jones. I thought the overall the production was great. I love the new video board design.
Yes, it's a big upgrade.
I think it's cool. I like the Balboa Park kind of background this year. They did the beach theme the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I like the new upgrade with the Balboa Park look. I think that's awesome.
I wonder if they're going to change that for to the City Connects.
I mean, I'm
like
sure they'll change
the background.
I'm sure they'll. The thing with the video board, they could change that background to whatever they want.
Yeah.
They have everything already set up for it, so they probably could. I mean, so yesterday was Balboa Park. I'm curious if it's going to be Balboa Park the whole season. I mean, what if today's a different part of town? What if it was like
or Balboa Park at night because it's a night game.
Oh yeah, you know what? That could be true too because it was during the day. There may be a night theme. I'm sure there's going to be. There was a City Connect theme, and when they had the City on City Connect Fridays, so I could see that being the case. But I thought the Padres did a really good job with the presentation yesterday. I think it's great. I love that they line up on the lines. They don't announce the opposing players anymore, except for their starters now, which is an ongoing thing around baseball. It's probably to just keep things moving a little bit.
Which even still, I'm surprised they didn't do their lineup first. Just do their lineup and then go through your entire team. It's like, okay, yeah, they're done. They're out of the way. Let's make them stand out in the sun longer. Now we'll get our team out there. By the way, I think, including the lineup, I think Ruben Niebla got the biggest pop out of anyone yesterday.
He got a big, yeah. And then Nick Pivetta happened, and now I'm sure people are like freaking out about Ruben Niebla. But Ruben's Ruben had to have the biggest celebration of any pitching coach around the country yesterday because he was out doing a lot of the Padres players. But I thought the production yesterday on opening, it was great. Opening day is so much fun. Now, some things that we want to get to. We're going to get to what Kevin Acee wrote in a second. I did not really, and when we do live remotes, there's so much going on and so many, I don't want to say distractions, but there's a lot like, we got to give this away, that away. We have a 2-hour show. We got to do this. Let's try to do that. We're talking to a lot of people. It's great. I love it being out in the community. I don't get to like sit down and really overanalyze a lot of the stuff that we get. Mm-hmm. And one of it was the lineup yesterday. I saw the lineup. It seemed fine. I understood why some lefties might have been lower in the order, but I failed to realize that every lefty this team has was in the lineup yesterday. Every single one. Now, I know Bryce Johnson's a switch hitter, but every single lefty was in the lineup yesterday with Jake Cronenworth in the lineup.
Who's an everyday starter.
Everyday starter. Jackson Merrill.
Who's an everyday starter. Budding superstar.
And Gavin Sheets.
You could have swapped him out.
Right. That's why, like, to me, the whole righty-lefty matchup is not a huge deal because two of your guys you're never going to take out anyway.
Yeah.
In Merrill and Jake Cronenworth. They're going to have to learn how to hit lefties. I mean, you're not going to platoon those guys. Or you're going to have Castellanos play and then have Cronenworth sit. Like, there's no way that's ever going to happen. I am a little surprised that Gavin Sheets got the nod to start yesterday. And we talked about it briefly about the defensive side of things. But I don't know why Nick Castellanos wasn't, unless it was just a nod to Gavin Sheets for the year he had last year. It's cool to give him a opening day start, but I felt like that was the only one that didn't make a lot of sense when you had the best, not only a lefty on the mound, the best lefty in Major League Baseball is on the mound, followed by probably the second or third best lefty in all of baseball pitching tonight. I think the lineup tonight's going to be very interesting.
I think it was the 6th inning as I look back on my scorecard. Let me see here. No, it might have been the 7th inning. How many innings did Skubal pitch?
He pitched 6.
He pitched 6, so probably the 5th inning. Like I said, I understand why. I understood and didn't understand why Nick Castellanos wasn't getting an at-bat. Because the game's already out of reach. It was, 6-1 at that point.
Oh, you're talking about earlier before he ended up getting the at-bat?
Yeah, before he ended up coming in. I told you, I think it might have been his last at-bat. But I was like, I understand and I don't understand at the same time why Nick Castellanos is not getting an at-bat here. Because I understood it because the game's out of reach. Why does it matter? And I also didn't understand it because it's like, it's the lefty's still out there. There's still a little bit of time to at least make the game respectable. Let Nick Castellanos get out there. And to his credit, he ended up getting out there with the bases loaded and hit a hard fly ball to center field. But
yeah, he just got onto that one.
Yeah, it was odd where it was really odd that they didn't get him an at bat earlier in that game when Skubal was just dominating to at least change it up.
I feel like tonight. Well, because Craig Stammen said he's going to flip the lineups around a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you won't see Fernando bat leadoff today. Although I like the combination of Fernando and Xander and Manny at the top. I probably against the right-hander prefer Merrill in one of the top two spots. But he did not look very good yesterday against lefty, and he hadn't had a lot of success against left-handers in his early career, Jackson Merrill, and he had to go against Tarik Skubal. I mean, he's one of the best lefties out there, but. To me, when I look at the lineup yesterday, I am surprised that Sheets started over Castellanos unless they were thinking about a defensive side of things. And like some people in the YouTube chat had said, I mean, they could theoretically have Ty France play second, have Jake Cronenworth sit if you really wanted to. Castellanos could play, Andujar could be in the lineup. But
you're not going to do that on opening day.
But here's the deal, though. Even before that, with the opening day card, because I think a lot of people's arguments that they bring that up, Frank, to your arguments, we got to win games. Who cares about opening day? I mean, you're never going to convince those people about the pageantry side and the
opening day is
respect
different
side and all that other stuff. But here's my thing with that. I still think Jake Cronenworth's at bats warrant him being in the lineup every single day more so than him platooning with Ty France. I feel like he's more of an asset there. By the way, like he also hit ninth yesterday. Cronenworth did. I don't mind him batting ninth against lefties. I don't mind him batting ninth against any pitcher, to be honest with you, because he might be able to at least work his way on base. I mean, he didn't yesterday just because he only had a couple of opportunities. He only had 3 at bats, I think. But for a guy that's a high OBP guy, I'd still rather have Jake Cronenworth and what he brings defensively and his at-bats to start every single day than have him start platooning because he happens to be a lefty. I also don't want to see Jackson Merrill out of the lineup ever. Yeah. And I know he's a lefty, but and maybe you got to move him way further down in the order against left-handers, especially after what yesterday was, because, I mean, you talk about this is where I brought up the first inning yesterday, because some people are like, oh, they jumped out to an 8-0 lead, and Braden wants to bring up the fact that they had runners on the corners once. Well, here's the deal: they had runners on the corners in the first inning with 1 out in a 4-0 game, and Jackson Merrill's up. And if Jackson Merrill gets a base hit and scores 1, it's a little bit different of a game. Jackson Merrill puts the ball over the fence and it's 4-3. That's a drastically different game. Now it's like now you feel like you only gave up 1 run in the first inning, and things change for your pitcher, and they change from your offensive mindset. I mean, if they would have scratched across any runs in the first inning yesterday, I think it's a little bit different of a dynamic of how yesterday's game plays out. The fact that they threatened, I thought, was good, because there's a lot of teams that would give up 4 runs and then go down 1-2-3 immediately, which they did not do.
Yeah, no, they responded. They just didn't cash in. That was the problem. They responded. They came out instantly. Xander Bogaerts ropes one through the hole. Manny puts one into center field. And you're thinking, okay, now we got something going here. And then Merrill strikes out. And then it just kind of like...
And then what did Sheets? Did he pop up or something?
Yeah, I think, and then Sheets popped up.
No, it was Andujar. It was Andujar.
Let me see.
Andujar popped up or something like that.
This is the fun part about having a scorecard on your phone.
Merrill struck out, and then Andujar got out.
Yeah, Merrill struck out, and then Andujar grounded out to second.
Right, to end the inning.
Yeah,
but you get a walk there, you get a base hit, 1 hit. Like even if they had there's other ways that they were able to score. Even if you would have got him in on a sac fly, 4-1 changes the dynamic of the game, and now you're not feeling like you're playing it, because 4 runs in the first inning, man, that feels like 15 to teams, even if it's the first inning, unless you chip away at it. And the Padres had a good shot to get Tarik Skubal early to make him have to pitch with pressure, and that was it. They didn't really apply the pressure at that particular time. So, interesting conversation. We got a lot of info out of opening day yesterday with the Padres that we want to talk about when we come back. We also take a look at what happened around opening day around the rest of the country. Everybody was focused here. What happened around the rest of the country? We'll talk about that as well as we return. Braden Surprenant Show, Setting Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. 11 a.m. on a Friday. Padres, Tigers coming up at 6:40 tonight. It's the first party at the park. Should be a fun time out at Petco Park again. I don't know how many people are running it back today. How many people are wounded this morning after partying before with us at Baja Rick's and then during the game and then waiting for traffic to die down and partying in the gas lamp? I saw a lot of you out there after the game, let me tell you. But the happy does after, went over to Coin Op, enjoyed a little time out there with the fans. The worst part of the day was the game. It was awful. But you know what? There's 161 more of these things. That's like what for Major League, right before the first game. Rick Vaughn's just sitting there just freaking out. Taylor walks over. We got 162 of these, bud. Got 162 of these, kid. We're going to be locked in for all of them here on the Braden Surprenant Show. I do want to mention that all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. We got a lot of other things that we want to talk about when it comes to the Padres and what we learned yesterday. I do want to bring this up, though. We talked about this during the break. Okay. Like, with the Padres and the lineup yesterday, they had all three of their lefties play. Now, Jake Cronenworth and Jackson Merrill are everyday players. They're never not going to be everyday players. They get paid to be everyday players, so they're always going to be in the lineup. But then you get to, Gavin Sheets. Maybe that's the question mark of whether or not you should have started Gavin Sheets against the lefty, and we'll see what happens. They get another chance today, and I think the lineup today is going to be more telling than the lineup yesterday. I think, opening day lineups have some sentimental value, right? I mean, it's obviously a very important thing on opening day. On Tony Gwynn opening day, we'll see what Craig Stammen's lineup is. I really didn't have a problem with the actual order of the lineup, but I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, hindsight's 2020 on this particular situation. I wouldn't be surprised if Ramon Laureano moves up to 4 against lefties and Jackson Merrill drops down to 7 against lefties. Now, here's the conversation, though, and it gets a little complex. Jackson Merrill, historically in his career, has not done well against left-handed pitchers in comparison to how he's done against right-handed pitchers. If you look at his splits, against right-handers, Jackson Merrill, with 750 plate appearances, is hitting 298 with a 342 on base percentage, a 530 slug, which gives him an 871 OPS. That's pretty good. That's good numbers in his career against right-handed pitching. 33 home runs, 121 RBIs. Kid's got 41 doubles, 10 triples, right? That's good. Now, against left-handers, it's not terrible, but it's not nearly as good. He's hitting 235 against left-handers in 330 plate appearances. That's with a 274 on base and a 365 slug, a 638 OPS. So against right-handed pitching, he has an 871 OPS. And against left-handed pitching, he's got a 638 OPS. Now, Frank, I'm going to use you as an example just to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Based on that information, what would you infer for him when it comes to where am I going to put Jackson Merrill in a lineup against lefties?
I put him towards the bottom. Honestly.
You probably put him towards the bottom, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you set a lineup against righty, lefty, whatever, that's for who exactly? A bullpen arm or a starter pitcher? A starting pitcher. See, this is where things get complicated, though, with Jackson Merrill's situation. I find this fascinating. Maybe I'm just being a nerd, but I find this fascinating. Against the right-handed starter, Jackson Merrill's hitting 280 with an 807 OPS. Still relatively good, still relatively close to his split against right-handed pitching, right? 298 average for any right-hander compared to a 280 average against the right-handed starter. 871 OPS against the right-handed pitcher in general. 807 OPS against the right-handed starter. Now, again, we talked about him going against lefties. Against lefties, he's hitting 235. But what about lefty starters? That's how you would assemble the lineup, correct, Frank?
Correct.
He's hitting 274 against left-handed starters. That's drastically different than he is against left-handed pitching in general. Now, that makes sense because of the fact lefty bullpen arms are usually very difficult to hit. They come in specifically to take lefties out, right? I mean, you got to face for other teams, the Adrian Morehomes of the world. You got to face the Tanner Scotts of the world. You got to face these lefty bullpen arms that are disgusting and have high velo, and they're hard to hit. But he hits 274 against left-handed starters with a 310 on base percentage and a 781 OPS. That's a big reason why he's still batting near the top of the order against lefties, and why I still think Jackson Merrill will probably play during the season higher up in the batting order against lefties than you would arguably think based on how he's done against left-handed pitching in general. And I think the biggest thing is the fact that he's done well against lefty starters. I find that to be a little surprising. I mean, he's only 6 points off his batting average against right-handed starters. I'm just saying. I can see where Craig Stammen went with this. But now, like today, if I'm doing a lineup today, based on how yesterday went, I'm going to have Ramon Laureano bat fourth today. I think he earned an opportunity to do that with last year and the season he had last year. And he's already off to a great start to his season this year on the home run categories because, I mean, last year seemed like a big year. I got to go back and look. Wasn't last year a very significant home run year for Ramon Laureano, like in terms of his overall career?
Let me
I want to say
actually.
like he found some extra power last year. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he hit 24 home runs.
He hit 24 bombs last year.
Which tied a career high, which he hit in his first full season in 2019 with Oakland.
Right.
He hadn't hit more than 14 since then.
And he's already got one right now. So where he's at on this team and what he did last year for this team. Now, for the Padres, he only hit 9 home runs, but still, he was a big factor to them driving in runs. I do like him at the 7 spot because it's nice to have 7, 8, 9 not be, a complete walk in the park for opponent pitchers, even though yesterday it seemed like it. But tonight, I would not be surprised if the order is Tatis, Bogarts, Machado, Laureano.
Wait a second. He only hit 9 home runs as a Padre?
Yeah, in 50 games, dude.
That's 27 over the course of a year. You're going to take that. That's not an only. That's a, wow, he hit 9 home runs in 2 months.
Only it could have been more, man. Could have had 10.
You're taking a 27 home run hitter every time.
Well, he's a 24 home run hitter now. So, I mean, he could have if he could have hit more home runs for the Pods and they would have broke his little thing. Unfortunately for him, the hand injury did not help. He's the big. I think if Ramon Laureano plays in the series against the Cubs, they win
100%.
100%. So I think they go Tatis. Like I would go today off if we're gonna make adjustments. I'd keep the top 3 the same. I thought the top 3 yesterday were fine. They hit 363 combined. Okay, I like the top 3. I'd go Tatis, Bogarts, Machado. See how long you can that experiment. So far, it's off to a good start. I'd go Laureano 4. I'd go Andujar 5, and then you got to start mixing in some of these lefties, right? To me, I would only I'm taking Sheets out, and Castellanos is going to play. So I'd go Andujar 5. Then I'd sneak in. Actually, I wouldn't. You could still split at the bottom. So I'd go Andujar 5. I'd go Castellanos 6. I'd go Merrill 7. Fermin 8, and then Cronenworth 9. So you have the 2 lefties in the lineup. They're both near the bottom of the order. You don't have that like Broadway of lefties in a row for a bullpen arm after Framber Valdez gets taken out. And to me, that's where I would go after seeing only one day of results with a lineup. And I'm curious to see if Craig's going to mix up the lineup a lot like he says he is. And I'm actually excited to see some of these potential lineups that they put out there. That's not accounting for Ty France. I mean, maybe we got to put Ty France in the order right now too. But Miguel Andujar was brought on this team to hit lefties, and he proved it in spring training. I would imagine he's getting another start today against a left-handed pitcher. That would be my guess.
I would as well. I don't mind that lineup. I probably would put. I'd probably move some of the things around. Like I'd maybe have Castellanos hit 5th,
put Merrill 6 and Andujar 7. But, I mean, I wouldn't be all that upset with your lineup that you gave either.
Only reason I put Andujar 5 because he rakes lefties compared to Castellanos. Castellanos hit...
No, which is fair.
And
or swap Merrill and Castellanos. I'd have Merrill bat 6th.
And the reason why I like Merrill batting 7th, it's just like now at the bottom of the order, you got two guys that could potentially bat near the top of the order, Cronenworth and Merrill, and I think it lengthens the lineup. I like the Laureano Merrill kind of flip, but we'll see what they do today as they put out a lineup against another lefty in Framber Valdez. Should be a fun game tonight. We'll talk more about that later on. We do have updates for you on Darvish and Joe Musgrove. Now with the situation at hand with the starting pitching getting off to a little bit of a shaky start with Nick Pivetta. We'll see if Michael King bounces back for the rotation here tonight for the Padres. I think a lot of people are interested in seeing when Joe Musgrove might come back. Well, we got an update for you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, sending us number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The NBA is sitting on a ticking time bomb right now, and it's all about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, what's an update without talking about Giannis? The Milwaukee Bucks just made it crystal clear. Either Giannis signs a $275 million extension or they're trading him. There is no middle ground. But here's the problem. Milwaukee waited too long. This team is the 11 seed. They've had 3 straight early playoff exits, and their big move for Damian Lillard completely backfired. So now you're asking a 2-time MVP, a finals champion, and a guy who gave you everything to decide your future? That's not how this works. And the rest of the NBA, they're watching. The Lakers, the Warriors, the Heat, they're all lining up for a chance at Giannis because one move like that changes the entire league overnight. So here's the real question. Is Giannis staying loyal, or is this finally the end in Milwaukee? Let's start with the biggest story right now in the NBA. And honestly, the one that could reshape the entire league and one that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks on these updates, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Milwaukee Bucks, and heading toward a breaking point.
Yeah, the Bucks have made it clear either Giannis signs a 4-year, $275 million extension, or they trade him. No middle ground. No, let's see how this plays out. They're done. They're either signing him or they're done. And here's the problem. This isn't just about Giannis. What's really going on here is that the Bucks are 11th in the East, 3 straight early playoff exits, major roster gamble with Damian Lillard that failed. Ownership structure is complicated and possibly fractured. This is not a contending team anymore. It's a franchise at a crossroads, and they are kind of leaning on their star player to determine which direction they go in.
And the Bucks waited way too long. Here's the reality of the situation. Giannis gave Milwaukee everything. He gave him a championship.
Mm-hmm.
He gave him loyalty. He gave him his prime years. And now they're asking him to decide their future. That's backwards. If you're the Bucks, you should have either reloaded properly around him or traded him at peak value already. Now you're stuck in the worst spot in sports. You're not good enough to win, and you're not bad enough to rebuild cleanly. And everybody is waiting for the Bucks to make this decision. It's not just the Milwaukee story. Teams like the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, they're all watching this. And why? Because Giannis is a league-altering player. If he moves, the entire power structure of the NBA shifts overnight. I mean, you look at this situation, it's really drastic to what the makeup of the league is going to be in the next handful of years because Giannis is still that player, but the Bucks are in a worst situation possible in professional sports.
Yeah, they are in a worst case scenario moment right now. And there are a couple of other teams, and we'll say the Knicks in that fight for them too. I don't know how much they'd be willing to blow up the team that they currently have to get him. But I mean, there are a lot of teams that are going to be very, very in on Giannis very, very quickly. I feel as though if and when he decides, you know what, I'm out playing here in Milwaukee, it's not worth it anymore.
Let's talk about what's going on around the league when it comes to the actual race in 2026. Some quick hitters, if you will. Let's start with Oklahoma City. I mean, they're the real deal. Best record in the league, 56-15. They're on an 11-game winning streak. Defense #1 in the NBA. And this is no longer a team that's young and coming. They're here, and they're here to compete, and they're going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, they have taken what they did last year and just continued to build upon that, which is something that you really want to see out of an organization. You also have the San Antonio Spurs, who since the 1st of February are 21-2, and Victor Wembanyama closing games already looking like a superstar, the superstar that they were expecting him to be after they lost their big three. And it kind of signaling for the Spurs that their rebuild is over and they are genuinely contenders now.
You knew they weren't going to be, down for long.
No.
Spurs are usually near the top of the league. And when they drafted Wembanyama, they were going to be a contender very quickly. 21-2 since February 1st is really impressive.
Yes.
Tony Gwynn Jr.'s Lakers starting to heat up. 9-game winning streak, elite in clutch situations. Luka Doncic is taking over late in games. They're a dangerous playoff team that nobody wants to see. And now, Luka Doncic was supposed to serve a suspension because if you get 16 technical fouls, you do have to set out a game. They have now rescinded that last technical foul. So Luka is active, ready to go this week. But Lakers are really heating up at the right time.
Yeah, they absolutely are. However, injuries are still a major X factor, especially to these playoff teams. Big names like Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, Anthony Edwards are all still out. And the next 3 weeks are not about standings. They're about who gets healthy at the right time as we start to make the push towards the NBA postseason.
$11:17 here on a Friday. We got Padres and Tigers coming up tonight. 6:40 first pitch. And tonight, if I'm not mistaken, tonight is the scarf giveaway, correct?
Yes, I believe tonight is the scarf. Tomorrow's the belt bag, fanny pack, whatever you want to call it thing.
The belt bag is nice. No, the belt bag is Monday.
I have been wrong before.
Yeah, this little sheet says that's the case. We were getting, what was confusing me too is like some people said that the belt bag yesterday. So people yesterday were telling us that the belt bag was this weekend. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure the scarf is first. But that is correct. Let's correct this. All right. Limited tickets still remain to join us for the opening series. On Friday today, join us for Beer Fest presented by Southwest Airlines. For the game, arrive early for $5 craft beers and live music in Gallagher Square. And on Saturday, all fans are invited to stay for a post-game fireworks spectacular presented by SeatGeek. Opening day scarves are on Friday, March 27th. Start the season in style with a cozy Padres opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Perfect for showing your Padres pride from first pitch to the final out. This scarf is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. That scarf, by the way, is cozy. It's so soft.
Yes, it is.
It's so nice.
Yes, it is.
It feels great. I can't tell you any time I've worn a scarf, but I will say it's nice. I think it's more for like the whole soccer thing where you like have the scarf up and all that stuff. Yeah. I think it's probably more for that than anything else. I do not know how to accessorize with a scarf. I will say this. I do not know how to accessorize with a scarf. So I will find ways to use
just the way you said that. It sounded like you said, I don't know how to assess a rise with a scarf. And then I put it together. I'm like, wow, that does not make sense.
No, it doesn't. That would not make sense. Did you imagine trying to figure that out? Excuse me? How did he do on opening day?
I don't even know. Hold on.
I don't know either.
Let's take a look.
All I know is the Giants got their ass kicked. But so did the Padres, I guess. So there's not much more of that.
1 for 3.
There you go. Well, did better than the first baseman for the Padres yesterday, I guess.
1 for 3 with a walk with and total base.
They had to, they lost the signing. Should have signed him. It's over. Okay, we're going to get to a couple of things here in this hour. And we're going to get to the manager's report with Craig Stammen, which is brought to you by SDCCU. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. He was on with the morning show this morning. He's going to be on the morning show once every 2 weeks, which will be great to hear from Craig. So he was on the morning show this morning. We're going to get to what he said in just a little bit. But I do want to talk a little bit about some of the information that we got out of yesterday in an article by Kevin Acee on the little Padres notebook. And this is kind of the recap of all the information that was presented by AJ Preller yesterday in a scrum. We played some of the clips for you yesterday. I know if you're with us at Baja Ricks, sometimes it's hard to hear, but a lot of people were driving around listening to us. But we got an update on Joe Musgrove. Progress, but still a question mark. Joe Musgrove has resumed playing catch for the first time since March 4th. That sounds like good news. Still no timetable for return to the rotation. He's dealing with a lack of consistency in offseason buildup and recovery discomfort post Tommy John surgery history. MRI showed no new structural damage. Progression still required. He's got to play catch. He's got to do mound work. He's got to do bullpen. He's got to do live BP. Got to do rehab games. AJ Preller said it's not imminent on the return. Not expected to be months either. Next 7 to 10 days are very critical when it comes to determining the timeline for Joe Musgrove. Now, from a medical standpoint, really good news. The bad news of this situation is the timeline certainty. But with the Padres already trying to rely heavily on the top of the rotation and Nick Pivetta not being able to replicate a career year from a year ago, at least early on, because they kind of need him to do that. We'll see if he's able to bounce back in his next start. It kind of puts the Padres behind the 8 ball a little bit with Joe Musgrove not being ready to go. It doesn't sound like it's going to take months, but even then, like if you just start putting the timeline together, which is very difficult to do, and I guess the next 7 to 10 days will determine that. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to be back before really June, to be honest with you, Frank, based on what he has to do of the playing the catch and this and that and recovering. Plus, we heard it from Walker Buehler about how he finally just stopped feeling pain in his elbow like a couple of weeks before this year's spring training. And he was like 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery. I mean, that's going to be a lingering
Tommy
deal.
John surgery. That's a big thing to denote. That was his second Tommy John surgery for Walker Buehler. This is just Joe Musgrove's first. So there is going to be a difference there. But yeah, no, it's not great, Bob. Not great.
Well, it's not great that he has to, start on the injured list and be
correct.
a little bit longer. You know, what it does do, it does buy some more time for the
Walker Buehler,
Ramon Marquez battle as they get an extended tryout for the season. So that was some of the news.
Does it though? Because Griffin Canning is still on his normal timeline, which is about May. So,
well, it's about May right now, but we'll see. It does because they're both still trying out for the team. I mean, even whoever wins that battle, if you have to make a decision.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not an extension for both of them. It's an extension for one of them.
No, right now is an extension for both, and then whoever pitches better will be the extension for the next one. Yes, we're saying the same thing. Yeah. I'm trying to find. I thought didn't Joe have? No, he has had so many, just different little things come up.
Yeah, little gremlins
throughout his career. I mean, I think he had a shoulder issue, if I'm not mistaken, at one point in time. But yeah, I think this is his first Tommy John surgery, if I'm not mistaken. He had something else though that was arm related that I thought was elbow related when he was in Pittsburgh, but I can't find it right now, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But it does sound like he's not going to be back until maybe June. I mean, he's got to go through a lot of stuff to make sure his arm's ready to go. And like Joe Musgrove wants to be able to pitch at the best level as he possibly can before coming back. We got some information out of Darvish. He's on the restricted list. They determined that they were going to do that the day before opening day when they had this conversation. He wants to rehab on his own timeline, and he acknowledges he's not mentally or physically ready to pitch, obviously, at this point in time. He was owed $46 million through 2028, but he's going to make nothing while he's on the restricted list. He would be paid if he was on the injured list instead. The voluntary money left on the table, obviously a very similar move in 2024 when he had the personal situation and an injury situation. Hasn't said anything about retirement yet. And AJ Preller's message is Darvish is unique, putting the team before himself. He's already 39 years old. He's had 2 elbow reconstructions. I mean, I find this to be admirable for Darvish, but I want to know what he thinks he's got left at this point in time. But I think you got to give him the right to be able to go through this the way he wants to go through this for what he has done for this organization, especially the fact that he's like, yeah, I don't need to get paid, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, that in his body of work throughout his career has given him the right to be able to. There are guys, like we say it with coaches and managers, they earn the right to mutually part ways when in reality we know that's them being fired, but the team is doing them a favor because they've been so good to them. This is what Yu Darvish has earned with the way he has played, not just in San Diego, but the way he's played throughout his career. He has earned the right. He has earned this wiggle room. Like if Ty France tried to do this, there's no shot. This would not be the case. But with what Yu Darvish has done, and he's also shown that he's been willing to give up his salary for the better of the team. You know what? Let you do you.
And that's what I was talking about this when it came up. Was it 2 years ago?
I believe so.
For anybody, like so many people get like disgruntled about it. It's like, well, where is he? Why isn't he here? Why does it matter? He's not taking up a roster spot and he's not getting paid. Who cares what he does?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at that point in time, like the only thing you would be upset about is like he's taking a roster spot from somebody that we could be using him for, which he wouldn't be, because even if he wasn't on the restricted list, he'd be on the injured list, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the only thing you could complain about in terms of him being on the injured list instead of the restricted list would be like, we're just burning money waiting for Yu Darvish to figure out if he wants to retire or not, or if he wants to come back. And that's also not the case. Like, he's not getting paid. There is nobody else in baseball that's doing that. Not one person that is willingly going like, yeah, you know what? I don't want the $16 million this year. You guys spend it wherever you want. I'm just going to go rehab on my own. Just keep me part of the system here so I can come back. I think that's fair. Like, it's a fair trade-off. Now, it didn't seem like from the conversations yesterday from AJ Preller that they have like all this extra money now to spend. I think they had already spent it because they knew this was going to be the case. I'm a little surprised that they went the restricted list again with Yu Darvish, but at the same time, if that's going to be his choice and he's okay with it, and MLB is okay with it, because again, like MLB's got to like grant permission for you to do this, then I don't see what the big problem is. And for somebody in the J Mock, I wasn't talking about you. There's other people that called in about it that brought up that situation 2 years ago where people got. I remember some of the phone calls, man. People would get like, "Where's you? Why isn't he here?" It's like, who cares? Mm-hmm. He's not costing you any money. Who cares? Who cares? Very admirable for Yu Darvish. We saw the ABS system yesterday debut. I thought that happened quick.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got to see it in person, because I haven't been to spring training the last 2 years where they had it before. It seemed very, very fast. First in-game challenge happened. Javi Baez triggered the challenge. Pitch was 1.3 inches off the plate. They overturned it. We're moving on. Super simple, super easy. Had no problems with that. I liked it. There were a couple of times I thought the Padres should challenge. I first noticed, like, oh, maybe you should look at that. And then we do the usual thing in the press box where you sit there and look, that looked outside. Everybody rolls back in their chair so they can see the TV, and they got to wait for the delay. Let's see. No. That's why umpires aren't up in this booth. They would have lost the two challenges I thought they could have potentially challenged in the ABS. I think that they probably would have lost.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a very smooth. We only saw one yesterday. I thought it was very smooth. I thought everything about that was easy.
Yeah. No, it took 5 seconds, if that.
I don't know what it was like on television. How it was like on TV when you're watching on TV, but overall, I thought they executed that well. Yeah, the umpire mic was not great. They got to figure that out too, because at the last couple of times, the Padres.
The fact they're using them though is a plus.
It's great, 100%. The Padres we've had some issues in stadium with some of the mics on that deal, so hopefully they get that figured away. It also could be like the umpire pushing the button wrong. too.
Yeah,
But that definitely needs to be cleaned up. Nick Castellanos had some news about him yesterday in the Notebook. He talked about how playing in San Diego weather is so much better than playing in Detroit and Cincinnati and Philadelphia. And the underrated point that he brought up is San Diego is a player-friendly destination when it comes to free agency, retention, and daily performance comfort. A lot of guys like coming to San Diego because they like being able to play baseball in a place that's going to have baseball weather the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I think I don't necessarily ignore, but we might not fully realize when players make decisions to come pitch here or come play here. And I don't think it's just the case for Nick Castellanos. I think it's also the case for Walker Buehler and some of these other guys that turned down other major league contracts to sign minor league deals here in San Diego because a couple of things. One, they have the star talent to be a contender this year. And two, you know what? I'd almost rather sign a minor league deal to potentially play in San Diego than sign a major league deal to play in Minnesota. Have to deal with the snow. I mean, when you're talking about like recruiting in college, if you had the option to go to Gonzaga or UC Irvine, wouldn't you take UC Irvine over Gonzaga like 9 times out of 10? You know what I don't want to do? Shovel snow to throw a bullpen. I don't want to do that. I'd rather play baseball in a place that has baseball weather. And we have had some great weather these last couple of days.
Yeah.
Here in San Diego.
Was not a cloud in the sky yesterday.
Oh, it was great. There's probably a cloud of tears for Padres fans leaving the game yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. Michael King tonight will be interesting. I want to know, I'm curious about the lineup tonight. We've talked about this already a little bit, but when we come back, Craig Stammen kind of talked about how he puts his lineup together when he was on the manager's report with Ben and Woods, which is presented by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking. It's better. We will play some of those clips for you when we come back and hear what Craig Stammen had to say about how he makes his lineup and how the guys are dealing with today after last night's loss. We'll get to that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. There was a time when March Madness belonged to the Cinderellas. George Mason made a Final Four. VCU made a Final Four. Loyola Chicago, Florida Atlantic, all these mid-majors turned the tournament upside down. Even San Diego State. But that era might be fading because now with the unlimited transfers and NIL money, power conference teams can basically reload every year, and they're pulling the best players away from smaller schools before they ever become Cinderellas. So what we're seeing now is fewer upsets, fewer double-digit seeds making deep runs, and more chalk at the top of the bracket. But here's the interesting part. The games might actually be better this way. The competition is stronger, the teams are more complete, but something feels different because March Madness without chaos isn't bad. It's just not the same March Madness we grew up with. This week in college basketball, the NCAA tournament is reminding us of something we've kind of known for a while now. March Madness is still madness, but it just doesn't look the same anymore. Because if you look at the bracket right now, the story isn't just who is winning, it's who isn't. The mid-major Cinderella run, the kind that defined the modern era of the tournament, feels like it's fading, and that raises a bigger question. Is March Madness actually better when the upsets are rare instead of routine? There was a time when a George Mason type team felt like a once in a generation story, but after that unforgettable 06 Final Four run, it wasn't a one-time thing. It became a trend. We got VCU in 2011. We got Wichita State in 2013. We got Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean in 2018. We got Florida Atlantic and San Diego State in 2023. Butler going all the way to the title game in 2010 and again in 2011. And even the biggest barriers started following. A 16 seed beating a 1 seed never happened until UMBC shocked Virginia. Then it happened again when Farley Dickinson beat Purdue. A 15 seed upset used to be rare. Now it happens almost every year. For a while, the NCAA tournament felt wide open, like anyone can make a run. But that version of March Madness is starting to disappear.
Yeah, and it is sad to see. But also, as you mentioned there, right at the very end of the monologue, is that it might not be the worst thing overall, because when you have craziness that happens routinely, that happens every single year, it's not really craziness anymore. That's just a thing that happens. So you do need it to go away for a little while for it to feel special again. And I think we've gotten so used to seeing that Cinderella story happen every single year that we're expecting it. And because of that, it is becoming a little bit less special when it does happen.
Yeah, we're seeing it everywhere. Players are leaving the majors for national contenders. Depth is stacking at Blue Bloods, less continuity at smaller programs. And the results is you're getting fewer true Cinderella teams. This year's tournament has shown it's clearly not many double-digit seeds are surviving deep into the bracket. And even the Sweet 16 is dominated by power conference programs. But here's the twist. Even without constant upsets, the tournament might be actually better basketball. The games are cleaner. The matchups are stronger. The elite teams are truly elite. But you get that missing feeling of that unpredictability that made every postseason feel like history. Because March Madness without Cinderellas isn't bad. It's just different. And the sport might actually be in a transition phase, not the end of Cinderella, but a reset, a recalibration, a moment where the system is stabilizing after years of chaos. But my take on this is I liked March Madness for the funness, the fun of upsets early in the tournament. Either way, the best teams are usually near the end of the tournament. But the fact that you didn't get any 13 to 16 seeds in the Sweet 16 for the second straight year in a row, and the fact that it's all Power 4 schools again for the second year in a row, that's trending in a direction that I don't think is necessarily good for the NCAA.
Yeah, it certainly is a problem. And I do agree with you. But again, you also can't have it be expected every single year, because then when it does happen, that deep run is not nearly as special anymore. So you want to keep that air of anything can happen. Sometimes you do get clunkers. Sometimes you do get bad years. Sometimes you do get snooze fests. But then there are other times where you get just absolute insanity. And that is what keeps you going back, is for that rare time when it does happen, because like, oh my God, we actually got it this year. Instead of, okay, yeah, this is the standard number 14 seed going into the Elite Eight or Sweet 16.
The perfect version of March Madness probably isn't a tournament full of upsets.
No.
It's also not a bracket full of chalk. It's a balance. A few early shockers, one or two real Cinderella runs, and then the heavyweights taking over when it matters most. The question moving forward is whether college basketball can find that balance again, or whether we've entered a new era where the magic only shows up in flashes. Either way, March is still March. It just doesn't belong to anyone anymore. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks again to everybody that joined us yesterday at Baja Ricks. It was a good time. We had a great time out there. Congrats to everybody that won some of the giveaways. We are going to be back at a live broadcast tomorrow, specialty broadcast tomorrow. We are excited for it. We're looking forward to seeing you guys at the East Village block party. Should be a fun time. We are going to be at Far Corner tomorrow from 12 to 2. Morning show will be there from 10 to 12. We will be there from 12 to 2, and Gwen and Chris will be there from 2 to 4. It's at 410 10th Avenue in downtown San Diego. Going to be a fun time. We're looking forward to it, as we'll have tons of prizes to give away. It sounds like throughout the day, we're giving away 3 pairs of Padres tickets. We're giving away 3 autographed baseballs. We're giving away 3 Michael King bobbleheads. We're also giving away a belt bag and a Padres scarf. So we'll be doing that throughout the day tomorrow. So come on down. It's a little bit earlier of a game on the Saturdays. Saturdays, 5:40 start time here at Petco Park. So should be a fun time down there. We're going to be down there having a great time. And everybody, I'm out of Braden Surprenant Show shirts. I'm putting a new order in, and I will tell you how you can get those as well. But we're giving away a ton of cool stuff tomorrow. And here's the thing. I've been told the pizza down there is great. And the story that they told with Gwyn and Chris when they did a live broadcast there last year was pretty remarkable how they started this potential deal. Hamby told us that the pizza there is great. I haven't been yet. I can't wait to try it. And as soon as Hamby was trying to tell Frank this morning about the pizza, pizza snob Frank over here put his nose in the air a little bit like, hey, you know what? I'm from New York, dude. I know good pizza. Try to blow me away. We might have to have a segment where Frank has to try the pizza.
And nothing crazy either. Just a cheese slice, because if you can't get a normal cheese slice right, then you can't get anything else right. So you just start from the bottom, taste test the cheese slice, and then off we go.
All right, man. That's big pressure. Far Corner. Anybody listening down at Far Corner that's working today, anybody that's driving around that works at Far Corner, if you are the owner of the establishment, I heard he's a great guy. They did not tell me who his name was. But Frank is calling you out about pizza tomorrow. He's calling you out. So we're going to see what the deal is tomorrow when it comes to the pizza. Because Frank's he knows some good za around town. I tell you what, the places that Frank has brought me to for pizza has been pretty money, pretty close to New York. Now it's not new. I don't know if it's New York style. I don't know if it's New York style at Far Corner. Frank is just for context, so he's not biased here. Frank is.
Is it Chicago style?
I don't think it is. No.
Thank goodness.
Frank appreciates all pizza, but Chicago style.
Yes. Detroit
style pizza?
On it.
Yeah. Sicilian pizza?
On it.
Good. All the other pizzas, I don't know off the top of my head. Bar pizza, football pizza, whatever they say at Barstool, I don't know. I'm not that kind of pizza connoisseur. He appreciates all but Chicago style pizza. He doesn't like
Chicago style pizza is not pizza.
It's more of
it's a casserole.
Slop. Yeah. I mean, even like the good Chicago pizza is not like the bad. It's not my deal. Okay. I agree with you on that. So Frank Marchese's calling you out, Far Corner. Are you up for the task tomorrow or are you not? We will find out tomorrow on the air. I can't wait. Pizza snob Frank over here. All right. Before we get to what Craig Stammen said this morning on the manager's report, which is brought to you by SDCCU. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. Let's get out to the phones. We've been waiting for this gentleman to call in, man. Got to talk to people off the ledge today, Brandon. You got to talk people off the ledge. We already got season 0-162 incoming from a lot of Padres fans today. Brandon in Carlsbad, what's going on, brother?
Braden, Frank, first of all, it's always an honor and a privilege that you guys would so kindly take a call from a wild man, San Diego psychopath, Friar Faithful like myself.
Well, just a point, Brandon. We do have the dump button ready to go just in case. Okay, so we have our built-in deal ready for you.
Okay, hey, technology.
It's like honestly
for balls and strikes.
Yeah, Brandon, and actually the button doesn't say it says Brandon. It's just the Brandon button. We're built in, ready for the energy, ready for the passion, ready for the let's get fired up San Diego. All right, the floor is yours. We are ready to push the Brandon button if we have to.
Okay, man. Well, hey, I won't say anything that bad in the sense that you won't have to push the Brandon button. But I will say this much. The Friar Faithful, Frank, Braden, you said it before you answered the phone. We're 1-in-162. Is that correct?
Yeah, 1 out of 162.
Anyway, yes. Okay. I've cornered fighters from boxers, bare knuckle boxers, MMA fighters, kickboxing, sometimes, not all the time, but I believe this could be it because there's a long season left. You need to get freaking punched in your face to wake up because we have the talent, but we need to iron out with the coaching. It's still new. Okay. We got a couple pieces of management that have moved around. We have some new players with, most notably Andahar and Castellanos, if I said that correctly. And they got potential. I think we can do something. And we're not going against slouches. They did great last year. I know they were 15 games ahead and then they kind of slouched off. That was a 2-time Cy Young Award winner yesterday we went up against. So my theory, and I have faith in it, is that sometimes you need to get freaking punched in the face to wake up. So let's not all get our you-know-whats in a bunch. Let's be faithful, okay? Hey, I get it. It's not fun to get your butt handed to you on opening day on the first game of the season on top of that. In front of your home crowd, you got some new players on the team, but sometimes it has to happen. For those of you guys who don't know, that's called sports. That's called baseball. It is what it is, and you can ho-hum about it all you want, but we got a long way to go. This is a marathon. It isn't a sprint. God bless you guys, and God bless the San Diego Padres. I'm out.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Could have been worse. Could have been the White Sox yesterday.
Well, that would have been the 17-0 that they had against the Dodgers on opening day. Was it 15-0 against the Dodgers? It wasn't 17-0. Oh, it was in 2017. Is that what the number again? It could have been 17-0. But after they scored about like 7, I was like, oh well, this one's over. That was the end of Tyson Ross in a Padres uniform.
Just give it the classic. Well, at least it's not raining.
And it starts raining. I did that one time, by the way. We were playing when I was working for TCU football. We were playing at Oklahoma, and it was a rough start to the game. Starting quarterback Trevon Boykin was out. They debuted Foster Sawyer, he was not very good at the beginning of the day. Samaje Perine, and what's that other guy's name? I forget. I'm blanking. He plays for the Texans now. They were just running all up and down the field against us, and it was freezing. It was like below 35 degrees, whatever it was. And
well, at least it's not raining.
On the headset, I was like, it could be worse. It could be raining. It could be snowing. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, that's true. We ended up losing that game. We came all the way back and almost beat them at the end of the regulation. We 2-point conversion didn't go our way, and we ended up losing the game. The next week, we hosted Baylor. We won that game, though. It was great. It was sleeting.
It is raining really hard. This is being cool here on the Entercom Empire. So if you're sitting out there,
what? That's a cheap shot at Scravy when it's not raining outside. That's a foul, dude. That is such a cheap shot.
He draws the foul.
I would consider almost Bush League.
I wanted an excuse to play the line.
You know what? You chop it up with Scraby yesterday in the press box, like all chummy, and then you just break. Bang!
Yeah, that was
gut
after
punch.
Yeah, that was after he said, "Oh, I was told you guys wouldn't be here."
I think
that's how he opened up the conversation.
A poorly executed joke on his part, and you know what? This is why you can't mess with Sicilians like this, because Frank just held a grudge up until almost 24 hours later, and then bang, got him with the cheap shot of the "it's raining really hard outside" clip that Scravy failed to delete to protect himself. If you want to do it and it's raining outside, I think it's fair game. But when it's sunny outside and you drop that on that, oh my God.
It was based on the context of the story that was being told.
That's a foul. I got to ask Scravy about it.
I took the foul.
I know you took that. It was a little bit of a cheap shot. You know what? Scravy had a breakaway and you dropped your shoulder into him. It's a hard foul. Don't get me wrong. It's a hard foul, but a little bit on the cheap side. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Chris in San Diego. Chris, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's happening, guys? Just want to say, love the show, great entertainment. The game one, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, he's going to get a W often than not, but still, my head is still high for the Padres. I'm excited about this season. And the other thing I want to add, when you talk about Frank and Pizza and this challenge, you really need to lay on thick either the New York accent or the Italian accent when you say his name, because I think it legitimizes, the savant of pizza.
I think so too. I agree with that, Chris. I'm gonna start calling you Francis. What do you think about the pizza, Francis? I tell you what. How you doing? Start dropping that stuff out there. That'd really make you cringe.
Yes, it would. It did.
A lot of non-Italians think like Italians like that.
No.
We're not all little Mo Mozzarella, all right? No. We're not all, hey, what up, Mo? Should I just call you Mo before the pizza?
No.
Frank's alter ego is Mo, the pizza critic. That's not a bad report you could do. Write that on the blog posts on the website. It could be like, I'm Mo, man. I just judge pizza in town. Mo. Hey, what up, Mo?
Oh, God. Did we get to the sports side?
It's time to get to it. We're ready to talk about what Craig Stammen said in the noon hour.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, what do we got, Frank?
Yeah, we had a pretty good amount come through yesterday.
Number 1.
Alec Bohm. I saw you and Crum talk about this in the press box.
Yeah, that popped up on my phone yesterday. I'm like, what is this?
Alec Bohm has filed a lawsuit against his parents, accusing them of mismanaging and misusing millions of dollars from financial accounts they controlled on his behalf. The Philadelphia Phillies third baseman claimed his parents transferred significant funds into LLC accounts and used some of the money for their own personal expenses, while also refusing to provide him access or transparency. His parents have denied any wrongdoing, stating that they acted in his best interest and will fight the allegations. The case highlights deeply personal financial dispute that could have significant legal and family implications as Bohm seeks damages and full control of his accounts. I think the number I saw was $3 million.
It was like $3 million.
How might a situation like this impact a player's performance on the field? We saw it with Fernando last year.
Yeah, Fernando was dealing, but that wasn't like it was his parents.
Agreed.
I just think it depends on your relationship with your parents. I mean, Aaron Rodgers completely cut his family out. He seems to be doing fine. I'm not saying it justifies it, but it just depends. And it depends on the player and what they can check at the door when you walk into the clubhouse, right? That story is crazy to me. And that's like, again, I am fortunate enough to coach a lot of good players that have rolled through Cathedral that now have to deal with NIL and stuff. And I always tell them, you got to have people that you trust running your money. And sometimes it can't be your parents. It's not always going to be your parents. I mean, just because they're your parents and you love them and all that doesn't mean they're not shady with your money, I guess. And so, I mean, I didn't know Alec Bohm's parents were Ipe, but I mean, I don't know why it's gotten to this point with some of I mean, the guy's an adult. Why can't he just run his own accounts? But I mean, it comes to a point where it's his money. He should be able to do with it what he wants. And if he doesn't want mom and dad to take the whole personal, using it for the personal expenses is kind of crazy if they did not already determine like, hey, can we have some of this or whatever?
The other two, there are 2 other stories in here that we're not going to have time to, but I do want to keep them in here. So we'll just go with this one.
Number 2.
We'll stick with baseball. Nico Horner has agreed to a 6-year contract extension with the Chicago Cubs, solidifying his place as a key part of the franchise's long-term core, coming off a career-best season in which he led all second basemen in F-WAR, won a Gold Glove, and hit nearly 300 with elite clutch numbers. Horner has steadily developed into one of the league's most reliable all-around players. The extension keeps him alongside other cornerstone pieces like Dansby Swanson, Alex Bregman, as the Cubs aim to build sustained success with the organization, still believing he still has room to grow offensively. Is locking up consistent, well-rounded players like Horner just as important as signing superstar power hitters when it comes to building a championship team?
I think it is. The guy can play, and you know he can play, and you want him you want to keep everything consistent as possible. I think it is important to sign those guys. I mean, he's like it's like the same thing with like, was it important to sign Jake Cronenworth? I think it was eventually to get him on part of the organization for a long period of time. They might have overspent at the beginning, but that contract's starting to play out because sometimes the affordability might cash in where you don't have to replace somebody with a free agent or go do it in the draft.
And he was in the middle of a lot of trade rumors over this offseason too, so they locked him down at a good time.
Craig Stammen joined Ben and Woods on the Manager's Report. What did he say? What did he say about the lineup? We'll talk about it next.
up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New Lunchtime Hour on the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors, 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. As we start our lunchtime hour again, want to mention that we are going to be at Far Corner on, I want to say Friday, but tomorrow is Saturday. We're going to be out there on the weekends. Saturday, we're going to be there from 12 to 2. Ben and Woods will be there from 10 to 12. And our afternoon show in Gwen and Chris will be there from 2 to 4. We're giving away a ton of prizes. It's going to be great. So look forward to talking with you guys live at Far Corner on Saturday, tomorrow. Now, speaking of za and pizza, and speaking of great pizza establishments, I got to bring this up because I just saw it today. Pizza Hut is launching a new pizza. Frank is all over this.
Okay.
Pizza Hut to launch new pizza and hot dog mashup with a hot dog stuffed crust.
And this is why we never go to Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut is introducing a combination of hot dogs and pizza to menus. Starting March 30th, Pizza Hut is launching the hot dog stuffed crust, a mashup that is inspired by the baseball season tradition of the first hot dog, of having a hot dog at a game.
That's cool. The only thing, cheese stuffed crust is the only thing that I would even remotely accept. But anyway.
The new hot dog stuffed crust brings together two classic game day staples in one over-the-top bite, with the whole hot dog baked into the crust of each slice. Each slice has a full hot dog in it.
God's sake.
Time to the return of baseball. The limited edition offering taps into nostalgia and indulgence, making it the perfect meal for watching the game at home with friends. From Pizza Hut. Now, I don't know how much of this we can disrespect, Frank, because we do like to say that you put the hot dog in a chicken bacon, wrap it in pizza if you want to go to Costco and be super fat. But you know what? This isn't. I mean, yeah, they don't have the chicken bake, so therefore it's gross, it's disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, you can get a pizza at Pizza Hut with a hot dog stuffed in the crust with cheese
to commemorate the start of baseball season. America's pastime. But guess what? It's only available in Canada. Why aren't we doing? Are they going to do poutine stuffed crust pizza for the hockey season in America? They should. Wait. That's only in Canada?
Yeah, the hot dog pizza that is commemorating the start of the baseball season, which will start March 30th, is only available in Canada.
Yeah, I've never really been that big a fan of international trade. I think that's one thing we can leave out. No free trade on the Canadian baseball pizza.
Canadian baseball pizza. They're doing a pizza for America's pastime, and they're only selling it in Canada. No, you know what? Like, Canadians are probably say, they're like, Americans eat this? No, we do not. No, I do not eat this. This is like the corporate version of them trying to recreate the chicken bake thing that we just
I was going to say, anyone that does not have a Costco card probably doesn't eat that.
When your Blue Jays hit a grand slam, you get a free hot dog stuffed pizza. presented by Pizza Hut. We're on the marketing. Good call by Wilbur.
Which,
in the
by
YouTube
the way,
chat.
speaking of the marketing, Ramon Laureano's home run was 423 feet yesterday. Now, why is that important?
Was he the one? Was it his home run, or was there one earlier yesterday?
That one only went 401 or 403. Laureano's went 423. And for those of you who do not know, Baja Blast is now like the official drink of baseball, or it's like the highlight of Pepsi, which is the official soft drink company of baseball. They are offering a free Baja Blast for any home run hit over 420 feet. The catch is, though, you can only redeem it 5 times over the course of the year. So you have to be strategic with it. But
where do you get them at?
I don't know.
Okay, here it is. Get a Baja Blast for a blast. 420-foot home runs unlock a free Baja Blast as the official soft drink, blah, blah, blah. Starting with the first game of the season tonight, home runs that travel 420 feet or more during the regular season unlock a free Mountain Dew Baja Blast for fans nationwide. You can visit BajaBlastHomeRuns.com to sign up, get the full offer terms, and add the Mountain Dew Baja Blast card to their mobile wallet. When a qualifying homer is hit during an MLB game anywhere across the country, you can use your pass to redeem your free soda the day after, up to 5 different times throughout the season. Fans can follow along at home by visiting Baja Blast leaderboard at MLB.com, which updates in real time.
I think,
where do you get it at? Like a 7-Eleven or something?
I don't know. I think Francisco Alvarez might have been the first one to do it yesterday. Hit one over 420, which I wonder who in marketing thought that one up. But yeah, Ramon Laureano hit one 423. So there you go. Pick up your free Baja Blast. And when you do pick up your free Baja Blast,
where do you pick it up from?
Please tell us how to get it.
You got to get it the following day up to 5 days for up to $10 value. At qualifying MLB stadiums, or up to $4 in value at participating retailers in the U.S. That's what it says.
Okay.
Do they even have Pepsi at? Is Pepsi at the? Well, I guess
they're going to have to get.
If they're the official soda of whatever, I would imagine they're at Petco Park.
I
can't imagine things. Who knows?
I don't imagine anymore.
They still do the free Jumbo Jack deal?
Yes.
What do you mean the free Jumbo Jack isn't free? Oh, it's worth purchase of something, I think.
Oh.
Slap some cheese on it. Throw cheese on it. I'll pay for the cheese. Throw on the burger. I think that we're okay with that.
I don't think that's how that works, but all right.
Let's get back to the phone calls. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. It's got to Brad and Escondido. Brad, what's going on, man?
Boys. You know I couldn't let that accessorizer eyes go by, right? Could have used him last night or yesterday with the bases loaded. Hey, it's a long season. I looked at yesterday, and I told this to a friend of mine yesterday. Yesterday was like going out on the first day with a cute girl, and she slightly farts at the table but giggles. Do you give her a second date? Yes, you do. Get over it, boys and girls. It's a long season, all right?
I appreciate the analogy, Brad. That's nice. It's like going on a date and the cute girl farts. Oh, wow. That was pretty funny.
I asked a different question when the bases were loaded.
You're not saying that there. People can start to assume, based on who was up with the bases loaded, what Frank was searching for on social media.
I was checking my phone.
Right. Nothing bad happened yesterday, so there's that. All right, let's finally get to the Craig Stammen stuff from this morning.
Yes, let's do that.
He joins Ben and Woods bi-weekly.
That means every other.
Yes. People know bi-weekly because you usually get paid bi-weekly. So they're like, oh yeah, bi-weekly. That means that's something to do with me getting paid, right?
Hey, listen, some kids may have missed school yesterday to go to that game. So we're just filling in the gaps from yesterday's learning missing.
All right. So he joins Ben and Woods bi-weekly on the Manager Report, which is powered by SDCCU. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. And there's a couple of things that Craig Stammen talked about today with Ben and Woods that I thought to be very interesting. Some of it has to do with his nerves and like playing from behind. But the one that's the most important to me that we're going to get to first is what goes into making his lineups. Here's what Craig Stammen had to say on the manager's report this morning.
We want to put our players in the best position to succeed. And so if we've got certain players that have a good matchup against a certain pitcher, whether that's past performance or we feel like their swing profile matches up with, say they're a low ball hitter against a low ball pitcher, those types of things like that. And, we're just, trying to find an advantage any way we can. And I think the one thing that we just don't want to do is get pigeonholed into a certain lineup that has to be out every day. And if we don't have that lineup, the players feel uncomfortable or feel like we're panicking if we change it. So I think just being able to cover and move and just, do different things and be, a team that can adjust really well. And I think that starts with the lineup and being able to adjust the lineup and not be something that's set all the time. And, like I said yesterday too, it may get to a point where, man, this is our lineup. This is when we score runs. Doesn't matter who's pitching. This is how we do it. And they get to that point, and then, we'll make that decision and do it.
I think that's a big point to this season for the Padres is I thought last year they found themselves in a position where they were never going to change the lineup except for the bottom three guys. And most of that had to do with who was playing and who wasn't playing. I don't mind the lineup changing all the time. I think any type of order of Fernando, Xander, Manny, and Jackson Merrill in the top four is probably going to work out. However they want to adjust, however they want to put it together, however they want to rearrange. And for me, I don't mind moving the lineup over again and over again and changing different spots and kind of different approaches. I still think you need to have guys like Fernando at the top to be the best player on the team, getting more at bats, or a guy that's a high OBP guy. I still think there's certain criteria you have to meet in order to hit in different spots in the lineup. But that being said, I'm totally on board with constantly moving things around. So that way it's not a question of, I don't want to get into a situation where the reason why they're not winning is and why people think they're not winning is because the lineup needs to change. And if it changes every single day, then that's not going to be a built-in excuse unless of course it's like they don't have any consistency. They got to bat in the same spot over and over again. Well, we saw that last year and it didn't really do anything different. I like this philosophy, Frank, that Craig has on putting a lineup together. I don't mind it. I think every game is a brand new day. You're going against a different pitcher. You can now play matchups a little bit different in terms of not just righty-lefty, but Freddie Fermin hits really well against Tarik Skubal. Let's move him up a little bit. I'm just using that as an example. But you can tweak it a little bit because every game's going to be different.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it should be. You should try to play the matchup at least a little bit. Just looking at today, if you did want to do that, Xander Bogaerts has 11 at-bats, 1 RBI. He's hitting .364 in his career against Framber Valdez. Nick Castellanos only hitting 100. So maybe you move Castellanos down a little bit more. Ty France has 25 at-bats, hitting .280. Laureano is hitting .250 and 20 at-bats. So those are guys that you can move around. And going to your point before about Jackson Merrill hitting lefty starters, he's 2 for 3 against Framber Valdez in his career. So you have ways to move this lineup around to help you out a little bit, especially if you get into a situation like what you had yesterday, where you might be down early and you start to threaten.
The thing that's interesting about that, this is the first, and these guys have access to all of these numbers, and there's a lot more that goes into it that they are looking at on a daily basis that puts the lineup together. But when you look at this particular situation, we talked about what I would do today, right? With what my lineup would be without looking at the numbers of Framber Valdez. I'm looking at the situation of like, hey, maybe Castellanos does have the day off today. If you don't start Castellanos today and you start Ty France instead, I mean, 25 at bats against the guy in Framber Valdez and the guy's hitting 280 against them. I think that's significant to get a start. If we're looking at opportunities for guys like Ty France and Nick Castellanos and Miguel Andujar, maybe this is a day that Castellanos is down again. I mean, Gavin Sheets, albeit it's very small sample size, guys, 1 for 2 with an RBI against Framber Valdez. And you mentioned again with Jackson Merrill, like he's had some early success against him in a small sample size. Might be a day where you move things around a little bit. As for Fernando, he's hitting 222 and 9 at-bats against Framber Valdez. So seeing some of this and some of these numbers and the philosophy of Craig Stammen, I'm totally on board with him moving the lineup up and down and moving guys around. And I don't think it needs to be drastic changes all the time to still make moves in the lineup. So I found that to be very interesting that Craig Stammen talked about. There's a couple other that, we wanted to talk about as well. But what we're, and this is kind of one of him being going from player to coach and manager, because he's learning how to do that right now. He doesn't have any coaching experience. What were his nerves like yesterday, which is a little bit different than maybe they could have been as a player?
Yeah, yesterday was definitely a different day. I was excited when I woke up. Definitely woke up early. I slept great the night before, but woke up early, and I got to the ballpark around 7 a.m. and I tell you what, those next 6 hours felt like it lasted 4 days. Before the game started, and I was feeling the nerves. Leading up to the introductions and the national anthem, but kind of once that all the pomp and circumstance got going on, I felt pretty calm and comfortable, and mainly because we have a great team, and the other part is we have a great coaching staff too. So I felt like I had a lot of people around me that were going to support me, and that it was going to be a lot of fun. And then the first inning happens, and we get behind, and things change really fast. But overall, it was an exciting day, and good to kick off the season, but great to start getting some W's.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. I'm sure we'll get the lineup maybe to the end of our show. We'll see. Here's the other thing, too. You get to see how early Craig puts his lineup out there. Hopefully it's early so we don't have to listen to Chris complain about it as we leave. Where's my lineup? I love when Chris does that. I remember doing pregame shows with Chris when I was working running the board. He would just get so upset about the lineup, dude, all the time. Where's the lineup? Why ain't the lineup out? Maybe he talked to Craig during spring training about getting the lineup out in a timely manner. He's got to fill out his book, dude. He's got to fill out his book.
Didn't get the starting pitcher for opening day out on a timely manner, apparently.
Got the opening day roster out the night before.
Out early.
Got the lineup out early. They were on that. That was surprising. That was great. That was great news. It's a great surprise. Loved it. All right. When we come back, there's a couple other things that I want to hear from Craig Stammen. And a little bit later, we are going to look at what happened in Major League Baseball around opening day. Get you a whip around, if you will, when it comes to Major League Baseball. We'll get to that later on in the show. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. The NHL is about to have its most chaotic playoffs in years. And honestly, it's exactly what the league needed. Look at who's in right now. The Buffalo Sabres, the Utah Mammoth, Anaheim Ducks are back. These are not your usual playoff teams the last couple of years. Meanwhile, teams like Toronto, Washington, even the LA Kings are on the outside looking in. This isn't just a playoff race. This is a full-on power shift in the National Hockey League. And here's the scary part. Some of these new teams aren't just happy to be there. They're legit dangerous. The Sabres are red hot. Utah has one of the best wild card projections to make a run, and the East is completely wide open. We might be heading toward a Stanley Cup playoffs where the old guards get knocked out and they get knocked out early. And if that happens, it could completely reshape the league moving forward. So the question is simple. Are we watching the NHL change right in front of us, or will the stars like McDavid and McKinnon remind everyone who still runs this league? The big picture, though, Frank, new blood is starting to take over.
Yeah, we're officially inside 1 month to go until the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the biggest storyline right now is that this postseason is going to look very, very different. Teams like the Buffalo Sabres, Anaheim Ducks, Utah Mammoth, Columbus Blue Jackets are in positions to get in, while traditional powerhouses like the Toronto Maple Leafs, The Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins are barely holding on, and the LA Kings are either out or fighting for their lives. This is not just a great race to the playoffs. It feels more like a changing of the guard in the NHL right now.
Yeah, I'm going to start in the Western Conference as a Western Conference fan. I'll let you talk about the Eastern Conference as an Eastern Conference fan. But out West, it's a different story than what's going on in the East. The Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars are absolute monsters out in the Western Conference. And whoever gets stuck playing them early, well, good luck to try to take on the Avs or the Stars. Meanwhile, the Utah Mammoth are one of the best wild card bets to make a run, and the Pacific is wide open compared to the Central. I mean, you look at this weekend, the Anaheim Ducks really capitalized because everybody else in the Pacific lost and continued to lose. Anaheim continues to play some very thrilling hockey. They won on Sunday night. Last minute, they had a lead early in the contest. They blew the lead. Then they had to rally back late. They won in overtime. And with how everything is playing out right now for the Anaheim Ducks and the Pacific Division, it's pretty fun to watch the Western Conference. But let's head out east.
Yeah, absolutely. The Eastern Conference has been just as fun. The Buffalo Sabres right now currently on an absolute heater at 9-1 in their last 10 games. They've played very, very good hockey as of late. A great change to see from what they have been. The Tampa Bay Lightning are still steady, but they're not the dominant team that they have been in years. And the Florida Panthers, who have been the guard in the Eastern Conference, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, are sitting down in eighth place in the wild card. So they're more or less out of it. Wild card race is total madness right now. The Bruins, the Islanders, the Ottawa Senators, the Detroit Red Wings are all fighting for a spot. And the key right now is the Ottawa Senators still have life, but their schedule is absolutely brutal with most playoff teams left. They just beat the Islanders, I believe, on Friday night. And the Islanders did themselves a favor by beating the Columbus Blue Jackets over the course of the weekend as well.
Let's talk about some of the potential matchups that you might see in the playoffs and what matchups might be the best. We're lining up some incredible first-round possibilities. You could have the Stars take on the Wild, which feels like a conference final in round one. You can have the Avalanche take on the Sharks, Macklin Celebrini and Nathan McKinnon, must watch. Sabres and Canadians, insane atmosphere, high scoring. Oilers and Kings again, pure chaos and memes. And you could potentially get the Ducks and the Predators, messy, high scoring, and unpredictable hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, the way it sits right now, as of March 23rd, as we record this, it'd be Hurricanes, Islanders, the 1-8, Sabres, Blue Jackets, Lightning, Penguins, Montreal, and Boston in the Eastern Conference. In the West, the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars have already clinched their spots. It would be Colorado, Nashville, Dallas, Edmonton, Minnesota, Vegas, and then Anaheim, Utah, with Anaheim, your Quackers, getting the home ice advantage in that pairing, as well as the number 4 seed at the moment.
Is this finally the year the NHL's middle class takes over? Because right now the league feels deeper than ever. The gap between contenders and wild cards is shrinking, and some of these new teams don't look scared at all. If you're a traditional power, this is the most dangerous playoff field we've seen in years. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. It's part of our lunchtime hour. New lunchtime hour is brought to you by the Craft Taco, bold flavors, 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. All right.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
You didn't play that at the beginning.
No, you didn't give me time.
No, I was too busy talking about the pizza.
Yeah, the lousy pizza. You're right.
The lousy pizza with a hot dog inside. Can only get that in Canada. Makes you think. All right, let's get to a couple other things here from the manager report presented by SDCCU. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. What was the mindset in terms of playing from behind yesterday? We talked about this in our first hour of the show. I just feel like it changes the dynamic of your offense when you are behind. and you're in catch-up mode. What did Craig Stammen say about that on Ben and Woods this morning?
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of those. It was 4-0. The game's still in the balance that early. You can come back and score runs, but you're never out of it in any game. As we even saw in the 8th inning, we had base loaded. And we had a chance to make it a little tighter.
Yep.
But so you're managing. You got to manage every game probably differently, and every game is going to have different situations and managing them appropriately. And yesterday kind of turned into a game where we had to lose properly. We had to lose in the right way and save the right guys in the pen and get the guys work that needed to get work. And they did a great job of getting through the game and pitching those innings that not everybody wants to pitch, pitching when we've got a deficit like that, 8-0. And they did a great job. And we're going to win a lot of games like that with those guys pitching. We get behind, they come in the game, they're going to hold that deficit, and we're going to come back. We've got an offense that can come back. So, we didn't end up coming back yesterday, but it was another game, and we got another game today. So exciting.
I do have to say, I kind of agree with Craig on this particular sense. Like, they do have an offense that can come back. I mean, but it wasn't just the 4 runs, though, Frank. It was then 2 additional runs and then 2 additional runs.
Yes.
And they're down 8-0. I mean, it's hard to come back from that. They did threaten a little bit in the first inning. I didn't really you really can't get yourself going when you are in that type of deficit. And we talked about this off the air, but I've seen it so many times in different levels of baseball, softball, whatever it may be, but just in the sport alone, when you give up that many runs in the first inning, all of a sudden your approach changes at the plate. And it's just it's a natural human instinct to try to start changing the way you do things to try to catch up in this particular deficit. So from that perspective, I can see why things you didn't get to see the offense really going at the full force that you would expect to see them go.
No.
You didn't get to see that last night.
No, and I think again, you saw them pressing. You saw them trying to make up for the deficit. You saw them trying to come back early, first pitch swinging. Going into the 5th inning, I think it was, Tarik Skubal had thrown less pitches going into the 5th inning than Ron Marinaccio had thrown in 2. So the Padres were swinging early in the counts yesterday, early outs. Skubal was under very little to no pressure after the first inning, and you saw a complete flip reversal with the Tigers. They were taking Pivetta deep into counts. They were taking Marinaccio and Bradley Rodriguez deep into counts. So it was just a complete. They were trying to get back what they were losing out on as quickly as possible, and it just did not work.
Craig Stammen after the game, how did he unwind from yesterday? I mean, again, it's different. He's a manager now. He's not a player. I think with being a manager comes with a lot more stress. And so the boys asked Craig, how did he unwind from yesterday?
You know what? I'll admit this. I left pretty early. My son had a little league game over in Coronado. It was one of the only games I'm going to be able to go and watch. Oh. And so not too long after the game, I was going for a doubleheader. So my son Chase was playing and had a great game. And our hitting coach, Steven Souza, his son Micah is on the same team. So those two were playing together for the first time, and we were able to sneak off after opening day and get to see almost the whole game. We missed maybe the first half of the first inning. And then after that, we both got to see our sons pitch, play the infield, hit a few times. So it was I went from manager of the Padres to dad really fast, which was a good breather and a good break.
I love that. There's a lot of people that might not love that. I love that. I don't really care.
Are you Craig Stammen, the manager of the Padres? Yeah. Why didn't Castellanos start?
God,
what are you doing, dude?
You know that all the parents of that Little League team are just like, you got to be cool too at the same time. They don't want to be, they know.
Oh, did you see this that just came across?
Not particularly, but
on ESPN?
No.
Tiger Woods involved in rollover car crash in Florida this afternoon.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, we got to make sure that we got to confirm that and everything. I did not get that notification.
From ESPN. I just got it.
Oh, well, interesting. We'll try to get more information on that.
Yeah,
That's obviously a scary
details.
situation.
This is from ESPN right now. No details about the cause of the crash or Woods' condition were immediately released by the sheriff's office. Police investigating, and a county sheriff is scheduled to speak with reporters at 2:00. So right as our show goes off. Crash occurred right as our show started and happened in the same town where Woods lives.
Wow.
That's from the Martin County Sheriff's Office in Jupiter Island, Florida.
That's interesting. All right. I haven't seen it yet on any of the.
It's the first story on
is that ESPN.com now?
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, hopefully he's okay and everything. Yeah, there it is. Involved in Florida rollover crash. We'll keep you updated on that in just a little bit, obviously, and we'll report any details that we might get further on that situation. Obviously, that's an ongoing situation. But I do want to get back to the Padres here in a second. As we've been playing some stuff from Craig Stammen. And the last thing for you on Craig, it was about, flushing the loss yesterday. And how the guys are good about flushing a loss after one yesterday. So here's what Craig Stammen said about the team.
I think we can learn. We can learn from that. I mean, it's good. Like, that's the thing about Bailey. 162 games in a 6-month season, and we got to flush Tarik Skubal and what happened in the first inning with Nick Pivetta. He's got to flush that really quickly,
yep.
and he did. He came up to me about towards the end of the game, 7th or 8th inning, and he passed me on the back and goes, "Sorry about that, Skip." I said, "Nick, I know it's opening day. There's a lot going on. Don't you even think twice about that. I know you're going to be great the rest of the season." He had a smile on his face, and he's ready to get on to the next outing already. So that's what it's about. It's about bouncing back. It's not what happens to you, but how do you go on to the next pitch, the next inning, the next 3 innings, the next game, and do your best. So all those same lessons that you learn when you're 8 years old, the same things apply when you're a big leaguer.
Sorry about that, Skip. It's rough.
My bad.
Poor Nick Pivetta, dude. The guy worked so hard to get to this point. Obviously, get to the be an opening day starter. Has a little bit of a clunker yesterday. Got to be able to, can't walk people. We saw some of the signs of that at the beginning, and like during spring training. He had a couple of clunker outings as well. But Craig Stammen said it right. I mean, you got to be able to bounce back in the next game. So curious to see what Nick Pivetta does in his next outing. Today's the day to bounce back from yesterday. Tony Gwynn opening day tonight at Petco Park. His first party in the park. Should be a fun time down at the game. Michael King getting the start today. But what else happened in Major League Baseball yesterday? We'll talk about recap opening day around the country when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Saturday's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. Tyler Reddick, again. Tyler Reddick didn't just win at Darlington. He survived it. Reddick now has 4 wins in the first 6 NASCAR races this season. Something only Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott have ever done. But here's the crazy part. Everything went wrong. He had a failing alternator, no cool suit in the heat, a terrible 16-second pit stop, and even a late race incident. At one point, he was 7 seconds behind the leader, and somehow he still won. He chased down Brad Keselowski. He made the pass with under 30 laps to go and pulled away. That's not luck. That's dominance. So here's the question. Is Tyler Reddick the best driver in NASCAR right now, or is this just the start of something even bigger? Frank, what can you say about Tyler Reddick?
It was an absolutely fantastic race that he ran. And as you mentioned there in that open, he's joined elite company here he's on a historic run with his win, 4 wins in the first 6 races. That's only been done by Dale Earnhardt in 1987. He won the championship that year, and Bill Elliott in 1992. So he did not win the championship that year, but that is very, very elite company. And that is the company he is in right now. But not even that tells the full story of how he won this race at Darlington yesterday.
Yeah, officially on a historic run, as you just mentioned. But, how did he win? Well, everything went wrong, and he still won. That wasn't a clean race for Tyler Reddick over the weekend. Not even close. I mean, he dealt with a failing alternator from the start, no driver cooling system in brutal heat, a 16-second pit stop issue, a restart from the back of the field, and even a late race collision. At one point, he was 7 seconds behind the leader in Brad Keselowski, who led for 142 laps. Most drivers would have faded. Reddick didn't. He was able to methodically drive back through the field, catch Keselowski, and with just under 30 laps to go, make the pass for the lead and never looked back.
Yeah, no, and Brad Keselowski and that whole entire RFK team was running tribute paint schemes to the late Greg Biffle. They all had Biffle's number set on the car, both Keselowski, Ryan Preece, and Chris Buescher, and all of them were very, very good. There was a point in that race where they were running first, second, and fourth in that race about halfway through. But yeah, for Reddick, failing alternator, I believe they changed the battery on one of the pit stops. The drivers have been complaining all season long about how hot this new car is and how hot the car runs during the race. So for him to not have a cool suit working was brutal for him in the start. And then that late race collision where, from what we've seen, Chris Buescher was trying to make a late move into the pits and Reddick just didn't see him and didn't make it, didn't catch him in time, ended up punting him into turn 3 and putting him in the wall. But one of those races where you had to really overcome if you're Tyler Reddick, and he did just that.
Yeah, patience under pressure, elite race pace, most importantly, mental toughness for Tyler Reddick. Even co-owner Michael Jordan pointed out one key factor: Reddick never lost his composure. At a track known as too tough to tame, he proved he can handle chaos better than anyone else. And here's what's coming up next. NASCAR Cup Series now heads to Martinsville Speedway, short track where tempers flare and momentum can shift quickly. But right now, all eyes are on Tyler Reddick for the insane start that he has had to the NASCAR season.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big question is right now, is Tyler Reddick the best driver in NASCAR? Because he's not just winning, it's how he's winning. He's overcoming mistakes, bad luck, mechanical issues, and still beating the field. So is this just a hot start, or are we watching the beginnings of a dominant championship season? And for me, I wouldn't call him the best pure driver in NASCAR. There are a lot of guys who are just as good as Tyler Reddick has been. They just have not had the luck. Chevrolet has a brand new body that they have not won with yet, that is giving them a lot of fits. There are a lot of great drivers in the Chevy camp that just have not been able to show it. Ryan Blaney, over the course of this season, has had several pit stop issues. It happened twice at Phoenix. It happened again at Darlington, where he had to stop in a teammate's pit box further down pit road because his crew left a tire loose. So there are a lot of guys who could reach that level that Tyler Reddick is at. Reddick's just gotten there first, and he's been able to maintain it, which has been the key here so far in this early season run.
Did it get tested for the Midday Sports Standoff? To take me down in sports trivia, be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 resort credit. Marches here in Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game. High-energy watch parties with expansive screens, great food and drinks, exclusive room rates. Plus, the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to participate in that. In the next hour, we do have Bob Dylan tickets to give away. Don't know how we're going to do that yet, but we're going to be giving away tickets to Bob Dylan in the next hour. I came up with a great question last time. This time, I don't know. It is a Friday. It's a foul out Friday. Just give them away. Stay tuned to 1 o'clock to figure out how to win tickets to Bob Dylan here in town. You can get your tickets to Bob Dylan as he performs at the Brady Shell on June 21st, one night only at Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. All right, fire up the baseball music, Frank. Let's get to what happened on opening day around Major League Baseball. And we got to start with, do we got to start with Thursday or with Wednesday? Do we care about that anymore? Yankees beat the Giants 7-0. Max Fried looked good. He went 6 1/3, 2 hits. Yankees offense did what they always do, capitalized on opportunities. Logan Webb did not look very good for the San Francisco Giants. They were off yesterday, and they're back in action today. So we'll see what happens with the Yankees and the Giants. Tough start to the Giants season. Over in CA were Guardians and the Mariners. Guardians won 6-4 yesterday in Seattle. Seattle was raising their AL West championship banner yesterday. They only have 3 banners up. That's kind of rough. I have to say, that's kind of rough. The Astros fans made fun of the Mariners about their sad display of banners. I mean, we can't really talk too much crap down here in San Diego.
And then just straight up lost to a team that's going to finish last in their division.
Last in division, according to you? They're not going to finish last in division. The Guardians?
No, I meant the Astros.
Oh, but the Astros.
Yes.
The Astros.
And then lost.
I got a lot of text messages from my friend who's an Astros fan saying how miserable it was. So I will get to that in a second. Mariners lost to the Guardians yesterday 6-4. Again, Guardians and Brewers are the same team, just in different leagues. Again, it's just one game, but the Guardians showed why they can hang with the best when it counts. Jose Ramirez, clutch go-ahead, 2-out double in the 7th. Chase DeLauder might be the key to Cleveland's offense this year. He hit 2 homers, and he kept the lineup alive. Mariners fans might be disappointed if their team stumbles against teams like Cleveland in the future. But again, it's just one game. I'm not overly surprised because of the one game thing, but Cleveland found out that I didn't think they were going to win the division, and they weren't going to be very good, about 500. And you know what they do? They go up and beat the Mariners, who everybody thinks is going to be one of the best teams in Major League Baseball this year. Are the Mariners cooked, Frank?
No. It's opening day.
It's opening day. Are you surprised by the Guardians, though?
No.
They never disappoint.
Yeah, no, because like we said yesterday, they're the Milwaukee Brewers of the American League. They somehow are always in the mix.
Let's get to one of the night games, Arizona and LA. Diamondbacks jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Geraldo Perdomo was able to go yard against the Dodgers. Dodgers put up 8 unanswered. Reminded everyone why they're the model of consistency and depth. Offense continues to be a problem for a lot of teams. Andy Pages, Will Smith, Kyle Tucker all show that the Dodgers are the team that can really punish you in any inning. Zach Gallen held them at bay for 4, but once the Dodgers bats got rolling, there was no stopping them. No surprise there. No. Dodgers are way better. I don't think the Diamondbacks pitching is going to be able to hold up the entire season.
Yes,
I really don't.
Jay Ryan in the chat. Yes, we did see it. We did discuss Tiger Woods' accident. Yes.
We are going to keep you updated on that.
Yes.
When we can.
We discussed it last segment.
Cardinals and Rays. How about the Cardinals off to a 1-0 start? Now, we all think, you and I think the Rays are going to come in last.
We think they're both going to come in last.
That's what I was going to say. I also think the Cardinals are going to come in last. But what a sixth inning for the Cardinals yesterday. Alec Burleson had a homer cap off an 8-run explosion for the Cardinals. And St. Louis You know what? Season-long strategy. Walk Tampa Bay's power threat, Junior Caminero, multiple times. If Tampa Bay can't adjust to that, Caminero could see a lot of free passes this year. I don't think he's going to see enough free passes, Frank, to pass Barry Bonds. But when you look at what the Rays have and Junior Caminero, I mean, you walk Junior Caminero, you'd probably be okay facing the rest of that Rays lineup.
Yeah, exactly. And also, good luck. My condolences to the Rays catcher from yesterday. That was not cool to see.
Angels and Astros. The Halos get off to a 3-0 victory and a 1-0 start. Vintage Mike Trout on display. 403-foot homer, a stolen base, 3 walks. Trout reminded us why opening day still holds magic. Meanwhile, Astros have some serious depth issues. They were very apparent. No runs and a bullpen that gave up 3. Good to see Mike Trout playing like Mike Trout. That is the only saving grace to the Halos this season.
Exactly right.
Any other comments about that?
No, not at all.
Phillies beat the Rangers 5-3. Christopher Sanchez looked pretty sharp. He pitched like a man on a mission. He struck out the side to end the game. Fills in nicely for Zach Wheeler, and with the rotation that includes Luzardo and Nola, Phillies pitching staff looking like a strength early on in the season. They're off to a good start. Bullpen still not very good, though. Rangers put a little bit of a comeback there at the end.
Good for them.
We don't need to talk about the Tigers and the Padres.
No.
Red Sox beat the Reds 3-0. Big stars showed up for Boston. Garrett Crochet delivered 6 scoreless. Roman Anthony ignited the lineup. Bullpen closed strong. Good early look at the team that could be dangerous in the AL East. My pick in that division. Off to a good start for a Red Sox team that's still relying on a lot of young players.
Yeah, good.
Oh, man.
Pardon me. Good to see Roman Anthony getting some good work in on opening day. That was very nice to see.
Baltimore beats Minnesota 2-1. Trevor Rogers led Baltimore to a shutout, navigating 7 scoreless. Ryan Helsley closed it out in the 9th. Wins like this matter. The brutal AL East if you're Baltimore. I don't think the Twins are going to score a lot of runs this year in general. Twins are not going to be very good. Biggest storyline of the day in Baltimore, though, Tyler O'Neill, no home runs.
Oh, I was going to say the way they unveiled their new scoreboard.
That was kind of
awesome.
cool. I like that. Yeah. Showed the old one.
Yep.
Here's our new one. Nats beat the Cubs 10-4. I found this game to be a little surprising. I mean, opening day is always random. It's just 1 out of 162 games.
Wind was really whipping in Chicago, too.
But it was a 10-4 victory for the Nats over the Cubs. Matthew Boyd, the Cubs veteran lefty, struggled. He gave up 6 earned runs in just under 4 innings. Nationals bats were all over hittable pitches, and Cubs fans might hope this is just day one jitters. I think Padres and Cubs fans are in the same boat with this one.
They just got jumped right from the gun, so wouldn't be concerned at all.
Brewers did exactly what the Guardians did because of the exact same team. The only difference is the Brewers just destroyed the Chicago White Sox, who are one of the worst teams in baseball. But White Sox got off to a good start. How about Chase Mydrop in the first at-bat of the year? Gets a home run to left field to give them the 1-0 lead. Brewers then scored 14 straight. Milwaukee reminded us, too, by the way, why they were dominant last year. Despite losing Jackson Chourio to an injury, they controlled the game in every way. Pitching, hitting, even the sausage race.
The ESPN headline to this was very misleading, at least for me. The headline was Mizorowski and Brewers tie record with 20 strikeouts. The way I read that, I thought Mizorowski had 20 strikeouts. And then I saw he only had 11. I'm like, well, that was misleading.
AI? Is that what it was?
No, ESPN.
Are we sure?
Sure.
Maybe they got the AI right in the headlines now. Yeah, the Brewers looked pretty good yesterday. The 14-2 beatdown of the White Sox. Another miserable year potentially incoming for the White Sox. I do think they're going to be better this year, though, than they were in previous years.
Also got Murakami, I believe, also hit a home run in that game, too. So that was to salvage the game for Chicago.
Last game we're talking about of the day for Thursday was actually the first game of Thursday. I don't even need to say anything. Go ahead. Give us the recap of what happened in the Mets-Pirates game as quickly as possible.
Metsies win. That's all you need to know. They knocked Paul Skeens out in the first inning. They scored 5 runs, and from there, they did not look back. My mother already hates Luis Garcia.
He's not very good.
Who I had to remind her the only reason why he was pitching is because the game was so in hand that he needed to get some sort of work in. And you will never
the Pirates
see him.
almost made it a save situation.
You will never see him in a
Pirates
big situation.
almost made it a save situation.
You will never see him in a big game situation.
O'Neal Cruz.
We can relax.
Not great in the outfield.
No.
Not great, Bob.
He had a rough first inning, back-to-back plays, too. It did not go well for him.
And Skeens is definitely upset about that. All right, we got games today, series that start today that did not go on yesterday. The Blue Jays host the A's from the Rogers Center. Luis Severino is going to toe the rubber for the A's against Kevin Gossman. A's are ranked 23rd with a D-grade offseason, highlighted by the addition of Jeff McNeil. Blue Jays, power ranking of 4 at a B-plus offseason, added Dylan Cease to get back to the World Series. Advantage? Have to lean on the Blue Jays here, I think, for this weekend series. Rockies at Marlins. Wow, what a matchup that is to start the season by two teams that have already been eliminated from the playoffs.
How is this game not on Peacock?
I don't know. Kyle Freeland versus Sandy Alcantara. Rockies are in full rebuild mode. And as we saw yesterday, the great bit, and the bit that keeps on giving, is the one that has the Rockies being eliminated before the season even starts. That came out yesterday at the first pitch of the Mets game. Rockies don't even play their first game until tonight.
Your second place Colorado Rockies, by the way.
Only because they didn't have to play.
They're in second place.
They're in second place. They have to play. Last one for you. The Kansas City Royals at the Adam Klug's Atlanta Braves. Cole Reagans and Chris Sale. Any comments on that?
Cool.
Do we have time for the midday sports standoff here? Quick. Do we have a contestant?
Yeah, we do have a contestant. We'll try to bust through this as quickly as we can.
Let's get to it.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
We have Derek in San Diego playing today. Derek, how are you, bud?
I'm all good. How are you?
Good. All right, so today's topic, we saw Ramon Laureano do something that only 9 other Padres have done since 2010, and that was hit a home run on opening day. Who are the other 9 Padres to hit a home run on opening day since 2010? Derek, you're up.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, there are some names on here.
Holy cow.
No way we're going to get this one.
Shot in the dark. Manny Machado?
No, man, he's not one of them.
Gavin Sheets hit one last year.
Gavin Sheets did hit one last year. Derek?
Let's go Fernando Tatis Jr.?
No, unfortunately. Yeah.
I know Will Myers took Mad Bum deep once.
Will Myers had actually done it twice, 2019 and 2021. This goes back to 2010, so there are some names on here.
Right. Oh, man.
I was going to do the last 10 years, but there was like 3.
All right. There's 9 different players, right?
Yes, 9 different players.
So I didn't even knock off 2 off there.
Oh, man. I don't know. Is there a pass? Can I pass my turn?
We're running out of time.
Yeah. I knew this one was going to be a little bit more difficult, but I thought there'd be a couple that would be able to get, especially the closer ones.
Did Hunter Renfroe hit a home run on opening day?
No.
Can you give me you should have given us the years maybe. What are the years? So 2025 we had
21.
That was Will Myers.
And
we had somebody else. Framil Reyes. Was he even on the team then? No.
Yeah, I'll just give it to you. Eric Hosmer, also in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, this is where I'm like,
Ozma.
Ryan Schimpf in 2017.
Ryan Schimpf.
Seth Smith in 2014.
Oh, well, that was opening night.
Yonder Alonso in 2013. Cameron Maben did it in 11 and 12. Adrian Gonzalez in 2010. Kyle Blanks in 2010.
Wow.
That one was a little bit rougher.
That is pretty rough. When we come back, we will get you an update on what's going on in the golf world. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. We have we want to get to this particular, we got an update on this Tiger Woods situation we want to get to. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant, the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So, according to Mark Schlabach of ESPN.com, they have now gotten an update on this Tiger Woods rollover crash. Now, here's the latest details. Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Jupiter Island, Florida on Friday, according to Martin County Sheriff's Office. No details about the cause of the crash or Woods' condition were immediately released by the Sheriff's Office. Police are investigating, and a county sheriff is scheduled to speak with reporters at 5 o'clock Eastern time. It'll be right when we sign off here on the West Coast. So Gwen and Chris will have this information for you to pass along. A spokesperson for Martin County Sheriff's Office didn't immediately reply to a request for comment from ESPN. The crash occurred just after 2 p.m. Eastern and happened in the same town where Woods lives. A photo taken by WPTV in West Palm Beach, Florida, showed what was reportedly Woods' SUV turned on its driver's side. Woods, who's 50 years old, had spent the past several months recovering from a ruptured Achilles tendon and another back surgery in October. The 15-time major champion competed for the first time in more than a year during Tuesday's TGL Finals, where his Jupiter Lynx GC team lost to Los Angeles Golf Club. He had been weighing whether to return to the PGA Tour at next week's Masters at Augusta National Golf Club, the first major of the season. So, some very interesting news coming out of Florida. And of course, when you think about this particular situation with Tiger Woods this time, you go back to February of 2021, where he suffered significant leg injuries in a one-car crash outside of LA, in which his SUV rolled over several times and left him trapped in the car. He later had surgery to deal with open fractures to his lower right leg and had a rod placed in his tibia and had screws and pins inserted in his foot and ankle during emergency surgery. Woods was hospitalized for 3 weeks following that particular surgery. Obviously, a scary situation with Tiger Woods. Not a lot of more information than what we already had, but it does sound like Tiger Woods has been in a rollover crash in Florida, with reports and photos of his particular SUV being flipped onto the driver's side. So obviously a scary situation. Hopefully Tiger Woods is okay. We will keep you updated whenever we can if we get updates on this particular news story. But another tragic car incident with Tiger Woods, Frank.
Well, we don't want to say tragic because there's no word on his condition yet, so we don't want.
I mean, even if he's okay, it's a tough car crash.
Oh, for sure.
He rolled his SUV.
Yes, absolutely. It's scary for sure. But yeah, this is something we were not expecting to be hearing today. But best of luck to Tiger, and hope his condition is good. And again, that presser,
and hopefully everybody involved.
Absolutely, yes, 100%. Okay. Yes, 100%. And that presser should be coming up in about an hour or so.
So we will keep you updated on what's going on if we find any more information on this particular deal with Tiger Woods. So that was some news that was definitely shocking that we had earlier, but we're getting more reports about it. So again, hopefully everybody's okay, and we will keep you updated when we see news on this particular matter. Tonight, Padres and Tigers. It will be a 6:40 start tonight. We got Party in the Park for the first time tonight, and this weekend's going to be tough for the Padres. I mean, the first day was going to be tough anyway in terms of the pitching matchup against Tarik Skubal, but the Padres have had not a lot of success against left-handed pitchers, and they get another left-handed pitcher today in Framber Valdez, who some of the Padres have actually hit very well in their careers. Xander Bogaerts is one of them. He hit the ball really well, I thought, yesterday with the exit velos that he put together for his at-bats. He has, in his career, in 11 at-bats, hitting .364 against Framber Valdez with a .917 OPS and an RBI. Other Padres that have had success against Framber Valdez, Ty France is hitting 280 against Framber Valdez in 25 at-bats with a 637 OPS. Ramon Laureano has seen Framber Valdez 20 times. He's hitting 250. Manny Machado has seen Framber Valdez 8 times. He has a home run. He's also hitting 250 with 1080 OPS. Jackson Merrill, who has not done well against left-handed pitching, has actually done decent against left-handed starters in his career. And one of those is included in Framber Valdez, who he has seen 3 times, at least 3 at-bats, and he has a 667 batting average. He's 2 for 3 against Framber Valdez. So those are some of the players that have faced Framber multiple times that have had success. Gavin Sheets can be technically part of that conversation, but he's 1 for 2. Okay, so it's not like he's had a lot. He's driven in a run. He's 1 for 2. He's hitting 500 again. It's insignificant amount of data to really go off of that one. But a lot of players for the Padres have had success. The ones that have not, Jake Cronenworth is yet to get a hit against Framber Valdez. He's 0 for 8 lifetime. Nick Castellanos is 1 for 10 lifetime against Framber Valdez. And Fernando Tatis Jr. hasn't really had too much success with Framber either. He has driven in 2 runs, but he's hitting 222 in his 9 at-bats against Framber. But those hits have been pretty big because his OPS has been pretty high against Framber Valdez. So we'll keep you updated on Tiger Woods, as I mentioned before. But how this plays out, and again, I think you're going to get a lot of different lineups out of Craig Stammen. But as you see today, I'm curious. I'm not really curious as much as the shifting of the lineups. I'm more curious about who's going to play on what days, especially after yesterday when Gavin Sheets got the nod to start at first base over a guy like Nick Castellanos. Like today, it makes a little bit more sense. Now, I didn't have if how Sheets did against Skubal in the past. Maybe he had better luck against Skubal in the past when he was a member of the White Sox, going against Skubal with the Tigers. But today, it makes a little bit more sense with Nick Castellanos potentially not being in the lineup because he's 1 for 10 against Framber Valdez all time in his career. But I feel like against the left, you're going to see the same kind of start to the lineup as you saw the other day. So I think Fernando's going to bat leadoff today. That's how I would do it anyway. I'd have Fernando bat leadoff today and play right field. I'd have Xander still bat second and play shortstop. I'd have Manny bat third and play third like we used to seeing. And again, the conversation with Manny this year has been about, is he going to be a guy that spends a lot of time as a DH too? I don't think it's going to be this early in the season, not with the way that Manny likes to play and the fact that he's probably one of the best third basemen ever live. But that will be interesting to see as the season goes out as well. I think you go at Laureano in the 4 spot today. I really do. I know he's had okay success against Framber Valdez this year, but I like Laureano after yesterday and just in general with some of the power numbers he's put up the last couple of years. I like Laureano against the left-hander batting 4th. I think you got to get Jackson Merrill out of the 4 spot today, facing a lefty, especially after yesterday. Move him down the order, get him some better pitches to hit, and let him really get going on the season. Because again, the only reason why we're doing this is because, why I'm bringing this up is because Craig Stammen said he's going to move the lineup around almost every single day. So my top 4 tonight would be Fernando, Xander, Manny, Ramon Laureano. I'd still have, Miguel Andujar is a guy that has never faced Framber Valdez, but he is somebody that was brought in to hit lefties. So I think you still got to start Miguel Andujar in this particular contest as the DH, and I'd bat him 5th. And then you get to like the 6th spot. I honestly wouldn't start Castellanos tonight. I'd start Ty France. and have him play first. And I'd have Ty bat 6th and play first base. just because he's hit 280 against Framber Valdez in 25 at-bats. I mean, he obviously sees him well. So I would have Ty bat sixth. And then batting seventh, I'd have Jackson Merrill at the bottom, near the bottom. Let him get comfortable down there for a little bit, especially against a lefty with what he had the other day. And then batting eighth, I would have Freddie Fermin. And then batting ninth, I'd have Jake Cronenworth. That would be my lineup today against the Detroit Tigers in Game 2. Now, Michael King needs to get off to a way better start today than Nick Pivetta did yesterday. You just can't walk people. And I think it's going to be an interesting outing for Michael King today against the Tigers because he's coming back from injury, right? For a couple of injuries from last year. I know he pitched in the playoffs last year in that one inning. It sounded like he was dealing with some stuff around then. But now you get to the regular season, and the spring training that he had was a little interesting. I mean, he did not do that well in spring training, I would say. But it would be good to get a vintage Michael King start out of Michael King today. And after the bullpen had to get pressed into action early because Nick Pivetta only went 3 innings, I think Michael King's got to go 5 today to give you an opportunity to win this series with the bullpen. I mean, I'd like to see King go 5 tonight and then get it to the bullpen, let the big dogs pitch. You're going to have Sunday off. So you let him pitch the first couple of, you could have him pitch today and tomorrow in situations to save the starting staff if they get into a little bit of a problem. And I don't think it's going to tax the bullpen too much. And I think with the way that Marinaccio and Bradley Rodriguez and David Morgan pitched yesterday to kind of save the bullpen for this weekend, I think that portion of the game benefits the Padres for the next couple of days. But they got to get some innings out of their starting pitcher tonight, especially after the way Nick Pivetta started the day yesterday. Can't be given the top of the order tonight a 4-0 deficit and expect to see the offense really click. And from that perspective, just because of the pressure that they have of the 4 runs in the first inning, I do think that you can still roll the same lineup out there again tonight as you did yesterday and have some success just on the fact that the situation changes with if they don't have a 4-0 lead to start the game. So Michael King need to be able to get comfortable early and keep the game close, give your offense a chance to actually work counts, to actually go through their approach, to actually put in the game plan that Steven Souza Jr. and the hitting staff have drawn up on Framber Valdez. And again, I'd go with the lineup of Tatis, Bogaerts, Machado, Laureano, Andujar, France, Merrill, Fermin, and then Jake Cronenworth. And I think you can get Game 2 here for the San Diego Padres against the Tigers. But that being said, I thought this team would go 1-2 this weekend. Lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. I thought they'd lose the first 2 and then win the game on Saturday against Jack Flaherty. Because I really think that Randy Vasquez is going to have a good year. He looked really good in spring. The velo was up. And so from everything we talked about what went wrong yesterday for the Padres, in terms of like my keys to the game for today, I think you move maybe a couple adjustments in the lineup. But Michael King getting a solid 0 in the first inning, I think really sets this offense up to have a bounce back day. And I think it's going to calm a lot of nerves from people that are Padres fans that were a little disgruntled from yesterday's game that didn't really go their way. Yesterday was about the pageantry and the flyover and all that stuff. Opening day is about baseball. And that's why this is always called Tony Gwynn opening day. I love Tony Gwynn opening day. It's about the baseball now. Press box will be a little bit less than it was yesterday, Frank. Clubhouse will be a little bit less in terms of media than it was yesterday. Tony Gwynn opening day is always a fun day. Should be a good attendance tonight. So if you're getting down to the ballpark, coming out of the game today for the Tony Gwynn opening day, got to get down there early anyway for your scarves. But it's so much better to enjoy the game when you roll down there early, get the parking early, get that all settled. The cool part about our ballpark is you got restaurants and bars nearby where you can get a drink in before the game, maybe a cocktail, a little happy hour on a Friday, get some food before you go to Beer Fest and party at the park. Always a great. I highly recommend if you are going to games, and if you're not a regular season ticket holder that's got 81 of these things, right? It's nice to get down there early and enjoy the night, especially if it's only going to be once or twice that you're going to be able to come down and join us at the ballpark. So I'll be down there tonight. I'll be having a good time down there tonight. I know Frank's going to the game today. He'll be up there in the press box scoring on his digital app. But I think today's going to be set up for a good bounce back for the Padres. And as I mentioned just moments ago, Frank, in order in my opinion, for the Padres to win, they got to get Michael King comfortable and get the offense out there early.
Yeah, you cannot fall into a hole that you fell into yesterday. That just cannot happen. If you want to instill any sort of confidence in the fan base, you need to have a good start to this game. You need to go, not necessarily a 1-2-3 inning, just an inning where you don't give up a run, or if you do give up one, leave it at that. Do not put up a crooked number in the first inning, and give your guys a chance. Give your guys a chance to right from the very start of the game, and that is the biggest key that you need to focus on here today. If you're Michael King, is just get out of the first inning unscathed. And for those, I've seen a couple of you guys ask in the YouTube chat. I use the iScore app.
Yeah, he's got his little spreads, prints out a little box score for you and everything like that.
Yep.
I have
Prints
to
out the
write it.
scorecard.
I like writing it down.
I do too, but just having it in my phone is a lot easier than like making sure I have the right color pens and carrying the big 162 scorebook that I usually get.
I love that book. I use it for college baseball. I have all the pens in there at all times. I just didn't bring my backpack in yesterday, so I had to borrow the gel pen from Frank, which I'm glad. It's my fafavorite pen, the Pilot G2.
They're the best ones.
They're the best ones. They should sponsor our show. That's how much we love these pens.
Sponsor your boys, please.
That's right. I asked, I got a gel pen, and Frank's like, I'm civilized.
Yeah, duh.
Only pen you could possibly use. I think that's the key to victory for tonight. I also think, I like the Padres' chances on Saturday, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back on the show. But tonight's a big night for the Padres, kind of bounce back, I think, and kind of calm down a lot of maybe disgruntled Padres fans after the first day. But again, as we've mentioned the entire time on the show, yeah, Pivetta didn't have his stuff yesterday. Yeah, he walked a lot of guys, which he cannot physically do. It's still 1 out of 162 from yesterday. So Padres try to bounce back tonight. We will talk a little bit more about that and the Padres coming up this weekend in our next segment. Drake Hills will join us at 1:35 as we keep you up to Gwen and Chris coming up next at 2 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 The Fan. UCSD baseball just made a statement, and people should start paying attention. The Tritons took 2 of 3 from UC Riverside, dropped 12 runs on Friday, 14 on Sunday, and showed this offense can explode at any moment. Oh, and head coach Eric Newman just became the winningest coach in program history. That's not just a milestone. That's a program leveling up. But here's the real question. Are they actually contenders right now in the Big West? Because the offense is there, no doubt about it. The concern, though, defense, pitching consistency, and closing games clean. Kind of a very familiar situation here in San Diego. Now they got to match up with a ranked Oregon team coming up, and that's the test. If UCSD shows up in that game, this team might not just be improving, they might be arriving. It was a statement weekend for UCSD baseball, taking 2 of 3 from UC Riverside in their Big West home opener series, and Friday night was the headline moment.
Yeah, absolutely. A 12-6 win powered by a 6-run inning and a grand slam from Delshawn Lanier. But the big story, head coach Eric Newman, congratulations on becoming the winningest coach in program history, collecting his 455th win, passing Dan O'Brien. So congratulations to Coach Newman, who we had on just a couple of weeks ago on reaching that milestone.
Yeah, on Saturday, UCSD stumbled 9-4, largely due to a brutal 5-run inning fueled by defensive miscues, a theme that showed some cracks in this team. But Sunday, they answered back. A 10-run third-inning explosion to lead to a 14-10 victory, securing the series and showcasing just how dangerous this offense can be when it clicks. I mean, the offense is legit. 12 runs on Friday, 14 runs on Sunday, multiple players producing. Klepsch, Crossland, Costello, Lanier. I mean, this is not a one-man show. It's a lineup that can snowball innings quickly, and we saw that twice in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have guys who can feed off of each other the way that quartet can, it does lead to big games like we've seen over the course of the weekend. I mean, 26 runs in 2 games, that is a lot. Forget about just D1 college. That's a lot for the minor leagues and for the pros as well. So they are a very, very legit offense, but there are still some worrying signs with the Tritons baseball program.
Yeah, there's still some concerns. I mean, the defensive errors need to be fixed, obviously. You can't leave that many runners on base either. I mean, 12 stranded on Saturday. That's probably a big reason why they were unable to get a victory and potentially sweep UCR. And then pitching inconsistencies in key innings, which is very much a common concern for most teams in college baseball. So the team can score with anyone. The question is whether they can consistently control games, and that's going to be a big factor in the Big West. And coming up next for baseball, they get a major test, a midweek matchup against the 21st ranked Oregon Ducks, and they're a really good baseball team out of the Big Ten. It's very much a measuring stick game. Midweek games are always kind of crazy in itself. Can that explosive offense show up against a ranked opponent, and can the pitching tighten up against the league competition?
Yeah, that is going to be a very, very difficult, very, very difficult question to ask for this team. Anything can happen in the midweek, as you said. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what the Tritons can do coming into this week.
Let's talk about softball. On the flip side, it was a rough weekend for Triton softball against Cal State Fullerton. They lost 8-7 despite a late homer in the game. They swept in Sunday's doubleheader 4-0, 7-1, and they're now on a 4-game losing streak. Offense has shown flashes, but they're struggling to capitalize with runners on base and recover from big innings by opponents.
Yeah, 8-7 loss on Friday. 4-0 on Sunday. Sorry, the first game, that's 8-7 loss was on Saturday, and then the doubleheader lost 4-0 in the first game and 7-1 in the second game against Cal State Fullerton. So now you have Long Beach over the weekend, Friday, and then a doubleheader on Saturday against Long Beach. So Long Beach State. So it's not been going all that well for UC San Diego softball so far.
Now, baseball's off to a great start. 5-1 in conference play. It's not a fluke. The offense powerful enough to carry the team, as we've talked about. They're proving they can win series, but championship-level teams don't just score. They execute clean baseball, and playing in a conference like the Big West, they're going to have to do that. So they feel like a dangerous team, not yet a complete one for the Tritons over there in La Jolla. If they clean up the errors and tighten the pitching, this team could legitimately compete at the top of the Big West sooner than expected in 2026. .124 on a Friday. Padres baseball first party in the park tonight. Should be a good time. Again, got the scarf giveaway today as well. Got to be a fun one as we get you ready for the weekend of Padres baseball. And Frank, I'm glad that Padres baseball is back. It's good to talk baseball again. Good to have it part of our show again. Talk about what's going on in Major League Baseball. Talking about the Pods. It's great to be back.
Yeah, it's fun to try to remember how you used to build a show every single day for
the
6
baseball
months.
shows and the non-baseball shows.
It's fun remembering how to do that after 4 or 5 months of not having to do it. But yeah, no, baseball being back, it's great. It's going to take us right through the summer. Love it. Splitting time between Petco Park and Snapdragon Stadium for San Diego FC and the Wave. It's going to be a lot of fun
cannot wait for this season to get started.
An update from CBS 12 News on the car crash that involved the rollover crash that involved Tiger Woods. According to the source at Martin County Fire Rescue, it was a 2-car crash. One vehicle was a rollover. One person is stable while another refused to go to the hospital. MCFR said there are no injuries to anyone. So that's good news.
Yeah, and there's a picture or an alleged picture of the accident, and it doesn't look like anything bad. It just looks like a lazy little, like he got up on the curb and
it doesn't look as, I saw the picture too.
Yeah, it's not like he took a corner too hard and rolled down a ditch. It looks like a lazy rollover kind of deal.
Now, who knows? Right.
As someone who has seen car crashes his entire life, I can pretty confidently say this was not a bad one.
All right. This weekend, we talked about it. Michael King needs to bounce back today. I'm excited, and we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. I'm excited to see Randy Vasquez pitch.
Yes.
I really am. I'm really excited to watch Randy Vasquez pitch here at Petco Park. And because I think that Randy Vasquez could be that, key to the rotation. Here's my thing on the rotation, because today, like this morning, I got a text from my buddy, and his dad was complaining about us talking about the pitching staff, saying like, "Oh well, they're just assuming that everything's going to go right all the time." Well, that's not what we're saying. We talked about the rotation on paper. It's got an opportunity to be good. But here's the thing with the rotation. At the beginning part of the year, this is who they think is going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the order of the rotation. But as the season progresses, and we've seen this before. I mean, when Nick Pivetta started the season last year for the Padres, was he the number 1 starter?
No.
Was he the number 2 starter? I mean, wasn't he brought in here to be the number 4 starter?
Yeah, that is what he was.
On this team, right? Because you still thought Darvish was coming back at some point in time, right?
Again, that's the thing. And I got killed for it all year, is that, I said, Nick Pivetta, great signing for $1 million. We'll see how he does next year at 20. There's different expectations now on Nick Pivetta this year.
Even if he goes back to what he has been in his career, which is a 4-something year, that's how much those pitchers cost nowadays.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is your expectations are different of him because he's getting paid more. So yes, you're right. He was brought in to be the number 4 starter, but now he's your opening day starter. So that's a big change in expectations for him from one year to the next.
I mean, to an extent. I don't think the $20 million this year is really part of that equation, because I think it's a win-win for the Padres anyway. If he does really well, he's going to opt out, and you're not going to have to pay him the 14 and the 16 the next 2 years. If he doesn't do well, then you're going to get basically a $14 million a year, $16 million a year pitcher in your rotation for the next 2 years, because if he doesn't, because he's not going to opt out, and he's going to be like your 4th starter for the next, then you actually have somebody in your rotation coming up in the next couple of years, which I don't think will be the case, and I think he's going to have a bounce back. But that being said, my point to this conversation is he might not be the ace of the staff midway or through the end of the year. It could be somebody else.
Yeah,
it could be Randy Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Michael King. It could be Griffin Canning. It could be Walker Buehler. I doubt it, but it could. It could be Germán Marquez. I mean, the order of the rotation could change later on in the year at certain points. So, yes, Nick Pivetta did not have a great day. Yesterday, he had a couple of clunkers last year, and he bounced back from all those clunkers. It's still super early on in the deal, but I think Randy Vasquez is going to pitch like a 3 or a 2 this season, which I think is high expectations. It could all come crashing down Saturday, but I liked his velocity was high in spring training. Another year working with Ruben Niebla, another year of pitching at the major league level. I really think Randy Vasquez is going to have a great year, and I think Saturday is going to be an inclination of him having a good year. I think it's going to be less frustrating to watch him pitch too.
Yeah, 2024 he clearly was not ready. Michael King was the star piece from that trade with the Yankees.
You get Randy Vasquez. Clearly, just wasn't up to the task that year. He wasn't quite ready to be a major league pitcher yet. Last year, he comes up. He's a good, solid back end of the rotation guy. And from what we've seen, he has taken yet another step in his progression to being an everyday starter and being a better pitcher going into this season. So, yeah, I have no issue seeing him as a number 3 starter this year. His development has gone very, very well. And just to see the progression that he's made over the course of the last couple of years, yeah, I think it is time. I think he is ready to take the next step in that.
I think so too. So part of this conversation, my buddy's dad is also a Pirates fan, and so naturally they quickly. Oh, how's the
what was that?
How's the center field situation doing?
What's Paul Skeens doing, bud?
How's the center field situation doing in Pittsburgh? Not going to be perfect up there either. I agree with that. Now, the thing is with the rotation, again, we mentioned it multiple times. It is the biggest problem for the Padres. I don't think there's anything else that it would be a more glaring situation for San Diego going into the season than the rotation. We have also said on the show, leading up to the season starting, we have also said the ceiling is still high for this rotation of what they can be.
Yes.
It doesn't mean they're all going to be like that. We're not saying all 5 of these or 6 or whoever it may be are all going to have great years. But if you get a combo of a couple of those guys having a great year, all of a sudden the rotation kind of fills in the different spots. We talked about the number 5 starter giving you 109 innings and trying to give you 5 innings, an outing with 3 runs or less. That could be Walker Buehler. That could be Nick Pivetta. I mean, if the other guys pitch a lot better than that, Nick Pivetta happens to be your number. Whatever the player's name is, will remain to be seen. You just need to have, out of your 5 guys, getting you certain production in certain spots.
We got a lineup. We do have a lineup tonight.
Wow. These guys are quick.
All right. So leading off in right field, Fernando Tatis Jr.
All right.
Batting second at short, Xander Bogaerts.
Same as yesterday.
Batting third, playing third, Manny Machado.
Same as yesterday.
Batting fourth in center field, Jackson Merrill.
Yep. Same as yesterday.
Batting fifth, DHing Miguel Andujar.
Same as yesterday.
Batting sixth in left field, Ramon Laureano.
Moves up a spot.
Batting seventh at first base, Ty France.
We agreed that like France should probably start today over Castellanos at first base and Sheets based on he's hitting 280 against Framber Valdez. I think that's a good call by them.
Batting eighth at second base, Jake Cronenworth. Batting ninth behind the plate, Luis Campusano.
I'd flip those two. But
I would too.
Here's the other interesting thing too, because we got to get to Drake Hills here in a second. A lot of these guys have like catchers they like throwing to.
Mm-hmm.
Campusano's already getting a start day 2. And it's a night game after a day game. They've had, Freddie Fermin's had a lot of extra time here in this particular conversation. So I find that to be very interesting too. Freddie Fermin, he's hitting $125 against Framber Valdez. Maybe that was part of the conversation, but could Campusano start Michael King's thoughts?
Here's something I will put out there, though, as a maybe let's hold on that thought. Michael King was hurt and did not get to throw to Freddie Fermin all year last year. So he has thrown to Campusano multiple times. So maybe it's just that familiarity, wanting to get a little bit more familiar with Fermin and feeling more comfortable right at this moment with Campusano before calling him a personal catcher, quote unquote.
We had all of spring. Who was he throwing to in spring?
I'm just saying it's a different, different situation.
Who did he throw it to last year in the playoffs? Was Freddie Fermin catching or was Campusano catching that game?
I don't
remember off the top of my head. I understand where you're coming from. It might be a little bit of a reach, though. I just find it interesting that Campusano's starting game 2 already. But here's the other thing, too. They said they're going to give Campusano everything and every opportunity to be successful this year.
Yep. This is
you have to have him play.
Yep. This is them sticking to their word on that, at least.
I thought for sure he might catch Saturday, but maybe they want Fermin back, with Vasquez still, because remember they wanted the veteran catcher with Vasquez a lot. So it'll be interesting to see tonight. Be nice to see Campusano get the bat going a little bit.
Yankees Giants in action already.
Wow. Well, it's their opening day today.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yes, I saw that.
Do you see that from Vitello?
We're just forgetting that we're forgetting Wednesday happened.
That's opening night. Today is opening day. They did that too with the Padres when they opened up the season. Like Seth Smith opened up on when he hit that home run. That was opening night. And then 2 days later, they actually had opening day. Everybody needs to have their opening day, Frank. You can't just have opening night. The players want to play in the daytime. All right, when we come back, Drake Hills will give us our latest on the SDFC reports. We will also finish up the show with more Padres talk. Lineup is out for the Padres. It's early. I love it. I love it, Craig. Let's keep it going. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Sermon Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. The San Diego Gulls are starting to look like a completely different team, and it's happening fast. They just pulled off a wild 6-5 comeback win over the Colorado Eagles, scoring late, forcing overtime, and winning it in a shootout. And here's the big picture. This team is scoring a lot. 7 goals against Bakersfield, 5 against Calgary, 6 in that comeback win. This offense is exploding, and it's coming from everywhere. Gauthier is with a hat trick. Pastujov leading the way. And young guys like Leno stepping up. But what really stands out, they don't quit. Down late, doesn't matter. This team keeps coming. So now the question is, are the Gulls turning the corner at the perfect time, or is this just a hot streak? Because if this is real, this team could be dangerous down the stretch. This was a big statement win for the Gulls.
Yeah, absolutely. And a huge statement week for them. The Gulls starting to build off of something, and this week showed exactly why. We'll start with the headline moment, a wild 6-5 shootout comeback win over the Colorado Eagles. This game had everything, 6 goals in one period, a late 2-goal deficit and a clutch finish. Down to late in the third, San Diego did not blink. Sasha Pastujov tied the game with just 33 seconds left, continuing his standout season as this team's top offensive producer. And then in the shootout, it was Nikita Nestorenko who had sealed that, marking back-to-back victories, and more importantly, showing resilience that this team is going to need going into a playoff push.
Now, they didn't sweep the series. The Gulls dropped the second game 5-1, splitting the set 2-2 overall. But even in the loss, Pastujov stayed hot, adding another goal and continuing to climb the AHL leaderboards in shots. Now, the offense is starting to heat up. This might be the biggest takeaway from the week. The Gulls offense is exploding right now. 7 against Bakersfield, 5 goals against Calgary, 6 goals in that comeback win against Colorado. And that's not a fluke. That's starting to trend in the right direction if you are the Gulls. I mean, Gauthier recorded the team's first hat trick of the season. Sam Colangelo had a 3-point night. Matthew Phillips snapped a long drought and hit the 400-game milestone. And Tristan Leno continues to be one of the most productive defensemen on the roster. This is a team getting contributions from everywhere, and that's dangerous in the AHL.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to watch as well. And all of those goals don't really mean anything if you don't have somebody in the net backing them up. So it's not just the offense. Thomas Suchanek coming up clutch in that comeback win against Colorado. Kelly Klang posting a 37-save performance and keeping these games close. And maybe most importantly, this team has grit and they do not quit no matter what, by how much or when they are down. They've now built up a reputation in the AHL for late game pushes, especially with the extra attacker, and that chemistry on 6-on-5 situations is becoming a real weapon for this San Diego Gulls team.
Yeah, the shift early in the season, the Gulls are very inconsistent, and now they're becoming resilient, offensive-minded, opportunistic. They're also elite in a lot of key areas, like you mentioned, the penalty kill, over 85% among the AHL's best. Shorthanded goals near the top of the league. That's a sign of a team that's not just talented, but buying into a system.
It's not just buying into a system either. It's getting that comfort of playing with each other for a long period of time. As we keep saying, the Ducks are good. So they're not just getting young guys that they've just recently drafted to learn on the job. They're keeping guys down at the AHL level here in San Diego, and that's building continuity. That's allowing these guys to form some sort of identity as they play together.
And now the focus turns to consistency. Can they avoid slow starts, which has been a big problem for them throughout the entire season? Can they tighten up defensively after big offensive nights, turn these flashes into a sustained run? Also, keep an eye on the new addition of Herman Traff joining from Sweden. That's another young piece entering a system that's clearly starting to click. So the big question is, and we continue to ask this question, are the San Diego Gulls turning the corner at the right time, or is this just a hot stretch? I just feel like this is different. Good teams don't just win. They find multiple ways to win, and the Gulls just showed a comeback win, a dominant offensive performance, a gritty defensive effort, and a loss. That's growth, and the only question now is sustainability. If they keep this up, this isn't just a development anymore. This is a team that could start making real noise and make some noise in the Calder Cup playoffs. .142 on a Friday. We know what Fridays mean. Fridays mean Drake Hills. Fridays mean a little bit of soccer talk. Fridays mean we're going to have a good time. Party in the park. Petco Park.
Speaking of soccer talk, what in the heck is Italy doing right now?
Oh, no. They're playing again today. Today's not the World Cup, though.
Oh, no, it's Tuesday. They're playing Tuesday against Bosnia. Okay. All right, I can.
Are they losing to Belgium right now?
Well, no, that's separate.
I know, it's a separate thing.
Yeah, no, they're the important ones against Bosnia on Tuesday. That's all that matters.
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Squirrel.
All right, let's get to Drake Hills. Drake joins us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. He is a contributing writer for Black Players for Change and ESPN.com. Let's get you updated on what's going on in San Diego FC. All right, maybe Drake can answer this question for us. Drake, what's going on? First of all, how's your Friday?
Happy Friday to you guys in the studio, Braden, Frank. Hope all is well. It's all well on me. Just had a little bit of wings and things, man. I'm chilling.
Wow, supporting Wings and Things. I've heard their ads on our station, which is great. Wings and Things. So, thanks for supporting some of our sponsors there, Drake.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a question or maybe a chat offline, Braden, but I think we might even have like a little bit of a cathedral relation to Wings and Things in terms of the family and the folks that run it. But we'll talk about that later. But just so you know, if you ever want to make my day, just bring in an extra bag of breadsticks or a couple of strips and wings, and we'll be all good.
You know, I don't know if there is any more Pat and Oscar's or O's American Kitchen, but they had like the breadsticks. I don't know how Wings and Things got it, but Wings and Things has the very similar type of breadstick there, Drake.
Yeah, I mean it's got the extra salt on the top. You know, it's subtle, but it's needed. But I know some people might get a little bougie, might get offended, but I'm going for it. Breadsticks and barbecue sauce. That's just. I'm sorry. If that's a hot take, Braden, I'll take it. But I'm standing on that limb. I'm standing on that rock.
Before we get to San Diego FC, Drake, I do want to ask because we do have some World Cup qualifiers going on right now. One of the countries is the one that Frank and I pay close attention to in Italy. With these like extra pool qualifiers, what can you explain for us how those work and what needs to be done for Italy to make it to the World Cup?
Yeah, so there's a whole lot going on, and it's not just with Italy. Like for example, in Mexico right now, and over the course of the start of the next week. You got DR Congo and Jamaica trying to get a spot in the World Cup. They're playing in Guadalajara on Tuesday, and then you've got Iraq versus Bolivia as well. So basically what's taking place is that, after Italy just beat Northern Ireland, I think that was yesterday in the semifinal, they're all vying for the last 4 spots or so in the World Cup. So what's going to happen is Italy's going to go play Bosnia and Herzegovina on Tuesday, and the winner of that game, they get a spot at the World Cup. So it's basically, you can class it as an expansion tournament. It's essentially how the March Madness, when they decided to go with the first 4 and try to get an extra opportunity for teams that are on the fringes to get into the tournament. It's basically the same thing for the World Cup.
All right, so it's single elim. So right now the first round games have already happened, and now you have 4. It looks like 4 potential teams going to clinch their spot into the FIFA World Cup from the UEFA side of things. And then you were mentioning with Jamaica and everything like that with the FIFA playoff tournament as well, they could get 2 more. So there are 6 spots left in the FIFA World Cup that are currently being played for right now. 6 teams will punch their ticket to the World Cup in March.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jamaica a lot. I've seen them up close and personal, just covering the Gold Cup. But I will say Bolivia is no slouch. They're used to being able to play on home soil and kind of make things hard for people to play at that high of elevation. But I think it's going to be a good game between Bolivia and Iraq. That's exciting. Those teams are on one end, and then of course you had, as you mentioned, Italy kind of having to go through Northern Ireland. So there's a lot of competition, but I got to say, I mean, I'm a little more focused on the competition inside the U.S. men's national team right now. And unfortunately, Braden, it seems like the injury bug, they can't get their number one options all on the same field at the same time. Like Chris Richards and Miles Robinson, who are without a doubt U.S. men's national team's best central defenders, and both will be out. Most certainly Miles Robinson. We'll see if Chris Richards is able to come back after the second game. But I know that one's got a knee contusion. That's Chris Richards. And then Miles Robinson, he's got a groin issue. So though they both will be out against Belgium on Saturday. Like I said, we'll see if Chris Richards is able to come back and play against Portugal, but Miles Robinson is out on both ends. So it's like, listen, these are the last 2 games for the U.S. men's national team players to prove that they're the guy before Mauricio Pochettino makes his decision on the 23, 26-man roster. Because when the send-off games take place at the end of May and the beginning of June, and that's against, Senegal and Germany, the World Cup roster will have already been set by then. So these are the last 2 games being played in Atlanta against Belgium and Portugal over the next few days for these guys to make a case for themselves. So there's a lot going on.
We're talking with Drake Hills, who is a contributing writer for Black Players for Change, as well as ESPN.com. This is our soccer fix, if you will, once a week on the Braden Surprenant show. Let's go back to San Diego FC. So from the international standpoint of things, obviously we got World Cup potential matches going on right now. Qualifiers, there's 6 more spots available in the FIFA World Cup that will be determined here in the next couple of weeks or so. As for the San Diego FC side of things with the MLS, they're in a little bit of a reset right now for an international break, which is nice and good timing for them, especially coming off of the start to the season that they have had with having to play in the CONCACAF Champions Cup against Toluca. We saw how the game ended last week, where things didn't go their way. After that, the response on Saturday, they just look like a team that has been a little bit tired in their last couple of matches. This is a great time for a reset.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about these red cards, especially with Chris McVey. Back to back, it seems being sent off, but unfortunately for RSL, they couldn't capitalize on that, and it obviously it was at the end, towards the end of the game. San Diego against RSL over the last weekend, but you do have that fatigue, and I think it's more than just the physical, Braden. I think it's something mental, especially when it comes to holding on to leads. Now, I know that they went down early. Sergey Solans, we talked about him. We talked about some of the younger guys that RSL likes to play up front. Obviously Aiden Herzakani, he was one of their young 18-year-olds. He had a pretty decent game, got substituted early, but in a 5-4-1 shape and still being able to impose themselves on San Diego, San Diego, you're able to get that early goal from Marcus Ingvarsson, but essentially you go into the second half with a 2-1 lead, and in very uncharacteristic fashion, you allow a late goal for Victor Otunji. So I think that the fatigue here is more so mental. I think with just the amount of focus that these guys have had to have, throughout pretty much since mid-February. I think it's catching up to them, but this is a perfect time to have that international break. You have a ton of guys going away. You've got, obviously, Anders Dreyer for Denmark. Anibal Godoy goes to Panama. Those are the two guarantees. Of course, Oni Valakari is with Finland. Anisi Saidi, he's with Tunisia. Cedro Santos is a part of the Cape Verde setup. And then David Vasquez, who, in my opinion, is one of the young and up-and-coming stars for this San Diego FC team. He's not with the senior men's national team with the U.S., but he's with the under-20s. And so I'm excited to see what he can do, not necessarily for this World Cup squad, but just building to becoming, I think, a pivotal player for San Diego FC. And who knows, maybe 4 years down the line, if he plays his cards right, he could be with the senior national team and playing decent minutes.
Last thing for you, Drake. Next Friday, we will be off because the Padres are playing the Red Sox during our time slot, so we will not have time to talk with you about the next upcoming game, which will not be until April 4th against San Jose. What should San Diego FC fans expect in San Jose when this international break is over?
Yeah, San Jose, they've been in this kind of incremental, shall we say, just trying to rebuild their roster. I think Timo Werner, bringing him in, you had a lot of guys, a lot of younger guys. Cruz Medina is a young player, similar to RSL, where a lot of their talent is young, but they've got some vets in there. They've got Oseni Buda, who is a former top pick in the draft, up front as a striker. But you've got Earl Edwards Jr. You've got he's a terrific goalkeeper. But I think that with this San Jose team, you got to watch out. Hector Lopez. I know he's no longer with the squad right now, but again, Cruz Medina. This is a team that they can kind of frustrate you with the way that they defend. I know that they haven't necessarily had the strongest start, but so this San Jose team, in the last couple of games, I mean, they've kind of started to perk some ears up. You got a good W against Philadelphia, another great W against Vancouver, shutting out both of those teams away from home. So you got to watch out for San Jose. They're a slippery slope, and it's going to be a very exciting game in the Bay Area after the international break.
Drake, we appreciate the time as always, man. Hopefully you enjoy some sunshine this weekend. Enjoy some Padres baseball as well. We will talk to Drake in a couple of weeks as we're going to be off next Friday for Padres baseball. Gwen and Chris coming up next. Padres Tigers tonight. We'll see you guys all at Far Corner tomorrow. Specialty show. Braden Surprenant show. Second Service Sports Station. 97.3 The Fan.